The 2017 University of Central Missouri football team went 9-3, including a 38-28 win over Minnesota Duluth in the Mineral Water Bowl. But before they could win 9 games, the Mules had to win 1. They took care of that in their season opener against a potent Pittsburg State unit, and they had to come from behind to do it. Junior quarterback Brooke Bowles displayed the versatility that would make him a Harlan Hill candidate, and freshman running backs Kobe Wilkerson and Devontae Turner showed why they were so highly recruited. So sit back and enjoy this UCM Classic from August 31st, 2017, the University of Central Missouri Mules and the Pittsburg State University Gorillas.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another season of the University of Central Missouri Mules football. My name is Evan Holmes, and joining me is Dan Swoboda. Thank you so much for spending part of your Thursday evening with us as the Mules get set to kick off another season of football. Dan, good to have you, my friend.
It's good to be here. I'm glad to join you up here live and broadcasting Mules football. It's going to be a good season.
It should be indeed. And tonight, the season begins with a matchup against longtime MIAA division rival, the Pittsburg State Gorillas. Last season, Pittsburg State finished 7-4 overall, while your Central Missouri Mules finished 9-3 overall, 9-2 in the MIAA, but lost in the first round of their postseason game to Harding University, 48-31. And now, after months of preparation, as we see Pittsburg State take the field, after months of preparation for both teams, we are set to begin another season of Central Missouri football. And I tell you what, this season is going to be full of surprises, and I think it's also going to be the chance for players to really etch their name into college football lore.
That's right, especially when you look at team matchups like Pittsburg State and Central Missouri. There are definitely two teams that know how to dominate both offensively and defensively. And like you said before, because this is their now 55th matchup between the two titans of football in the Division II series, it's going to be one really tight game, and I'm looking forward to see some good plays on both sides here.
Out of the first 54 meetings, Pittsburg State has won 42 of those meetings, probably because for a long time they were one of the best teams in college football. Central Missouri has won 10 of those matchups, and they have tied twice. And before we get set for the 55th edition of their rivalry, we step aside for the national anthem.
Too cool.
That is too cool. Look at that, Dan. B-2 bomber flying over Walton Stadium tonight.
Yeah, that is actually the first time that the B-2 has been flown over UCM, and usually they always come out with the F-16s right off of Whiteman Air Force Base there, but this is the first time in school history that the B-2 has flown over, and it has been an incredible sight.
Well, you learn something new every day. I didn't know that this was the first time the B-2 bomber had actually flown over the Mule Stadium before opening night, but we got to witness a first, and we are going to witness a first this season. First game of the year for Central Missouri as they take on Pittsburg State, as we mentioned earlier. And I think a key thing to point out tonight is the quarterback matchups. We have two sensational quarterbacks tonight, and here they are right here. We have for Central Missouri wearing number 2 in Mules red tonight, we have Brooke Bowles, and then wearing number 19 for Pittsburg State white is Roderick Jr. Both of these guys have very strong throwing arms. Both guys are very, very aware of seeing the field, knowing where everybody is at all times. And when you compare the two teams' passing yardage overall from a season ago, the results are eerily similar. And what I mean by that is Central Missouri throws on an average 370 yards a game last season, while Pittsburg State threw about 364. What's the key factor for both of these guys tonight, Dan?
Well, the fact that UCM is built on a quick strike offense. Last season in 2016, they had an average time of possession of 31 minutes and 10 seconds, and 20 out of 60 touchdowns that they scored were scored in less than 2 minutes. So you see how the key quick offense there was just get the ball, get it in the end zone, put some points on the board, and try to take the lead as quickly as they can.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with you on that. By the way, when I said Roderick, I forgot to mention his first name. My fault. John Roderick of Pittsburg State. Here is the coin toss. We'll wait to see who will begin the night on the offensive and defensive sides.
Pittsburg State, it's your call.
Pittsburg State gets the call.
Tails of the call.
They call tails. Here is the flip. It is
a tail.
It is tail. Pittsburg State's won the toss.
You like the football? Which way you want to kick? Switch sides, man.
They will switch sides, and if I read that body language correctly, they will defer, and UCM will receive to begin the first half.
Yeah, it's always risky trying to receive in the first half because it's so important to have the ball in the second half, because the second half is the deciding factor of whether or not that we want to win the game or walk away with a loss.
So we get set for a game that has been highly anticipated by both schools. I actually ran into number 11 for UCM, Kobe Wilkerson, yesterday, and he said he could not wait for tonight's game because, like I mentioned, it has been months since any of these guys have gotten to play football. Both of these teams, last time they actually played a collegiate game was in November. So it was well worth the wait, I tell you what.
That's
so now,
right.
old faces and new faces are about to step onto the field as we get set for another collegiate football adventure.
That's right. The energy has been electric on campus, knowing that today was the first game of the season. And it looked like from here up in the press box, we have a packed crowd of both students, parents, faculty, staff, people from all over the Warrensburg area. Maybe some people from Sedalia. We got a lot of people out here for some Mules football, and it looks like it's going to be a great game. We got a great night for it. Cloudy, maybe a little cloudy, but it looks like the weather's going to hold up real nice for us.
And we are just now about set to begin the season. And by the way, Kobe Wilkerson, who I mentioned earlier, he's actually, it appears that either he or number 1 for UCM, either him or his backup Jalen Zachary will receive to begin the night. We are set for the opening kickoff. After months of waiting, workouts, and preparation, the 2017 season is about to begin. Our adventure starts now. Caught by Wilkerson in the end zone. He'll run it up. He's at the 10. He's at the 15 and down at about the 17. And Pittsburg State fans can applaud that as they stop Kobe Wilkerson, who is lightning quick. I actually went to high school with Kobe, actually, in Warrensburg, and he actually went to Texas for a couple of years, won 2 district football titles out there, and UCM will start at the 17-yard line. Dan, what is the key thing for Pittsburg State in terms of defense?
Well, Pittsburg State has one of the best defensive positions in all of the MIAA, considering that last year they had a very offensive defensive position. The irony in that.
Yes.
But knowing that they scored a lot with interceptions and was able to recover the ball off of bad passes and bad fumble recoveries by other teams, they were able to score a lot of points and put themselves back in position.
Brooke Bowles back, pressured, Bowles throwing down the field, and it's caught at about the 40. Oh, what a terrific play. Catch is made by number 8, Tyron Parker. First down, Mules on a gain of about 43.
That's a very good position for them to put themselves into. They were back sitting on around the 17, and now that they're up in the 40 into the opposite position, they're ready to start scoring.
My correction, that was a gain of 45 up to the 38. Pulls the handoff, and I believe that was Jalen Zachary. No, it was Kobe Wilkerson. He's down to about the 32, gain of 5.
Tackled by Pittsburg State's number
When these
92,
two teams
Stephen
met
Thomas.
last season, Pittsburg State was the home team. They jumped out to a 13-0 lead on these Mules and led 13-7 going into the half. It looked like they were in control, but the Mules come back, outscore them 20-0 in the third. The game was tied. In the final 5 minutes, UCM scores a 79-yard touchdown courtesy of Jalen Zachary to pull off a 34-27 win. Bulls looking in the end zone, overthrows his man. Very close to a score right there. Wesley Thomas couldn't make the catch. And it'll bring up 3rd and 5 for Central Missouri at the Pittsburg State 33.
And that was just a good example of this lightning quick offense that the Mules like to try to pressure. They love to try to get the ball in the end zone as fast as they can to put points up on the board, try to keep the other team under pressure.
Pulls a handoff, and Pittsburg State holds a team meeting around the rusher, Kobe Wilkerson. It'll bring up 4th down.
Brings up 4th down, Mules, 4th down and 5.
Question is here, will they go for it on 4th down? They have 5 yards, and it looks like they're going to go for it here. We'll see how much that works in benefit of UCM. Brooke Bowles gets the signal from the sideline, waits the snap. Here is the snap, 4th and 5. He's pressured, runs away. He's going to get a 1st down and more at about the 33. At about the 28. But that's good enough for a 1st down.
This also puts them in a good position for a field goal kick. Now that they're a little bit closer, they can get their kickers more accurate and more on target. So if they want to get a field goal to score some emergency 3 points, that's perfectly fine with them.
UCM's got the crowd into it here. Again, UCM the home team for this evening. 1st and 10 from the 28. Handoff. And brought down on the play is Kyron Parker. Carryon Parker, I should say. Stopped by number 2, Matt McGee of Pitt State. Only a gain of 1 on the play, 2nd and 9. And we take a look at Parker statistics. 6'4", 200-pound junior from Webster, Texas.
And with size like that, it should be easy for him to smash through the defensive line.
2nd and 9. Bulls looking for room, fires into the end zone and dropped. Incomplete pass to Jalen Zachary. It's now 3rd and 9. By the way, Jalen Zachary, is tied for 7th all-time for UCM in touchdowns for a collegiate career. 17 of them. 15 of those 17 came last season. So 3rd and 9 from the Pittsburg State 27-yard line. 12:10 remaining, 1st quarter. Bulls waits the snap. Here it is again, drops back. He's looking to run. He's in trouble. Gets away from the tackler. Gets by the second one. Bulls has got room and brought down about the 12, and there's a flag on the play. We have a flag on the play after that sensational run by Brooke Bowles. And I think it's going to be a hold on Central Missouri. We'll wait to see. Dan, could you tell what happened?
It looked like it was a really good run on his part. He looked like he was about to get tackled way behind.
Number 15. 10-yard penalty spot of the foul. Repeat. Third down.
There's a block in the back on Central Missouri. So they will bring the ball back. It is a loss of 10. It's going to be third and, let's see. They're going to say 3rd and 4, I think. Yes, 3rd and 4 from the 22-yard line. Penalty on Wesley Thomas of Central Missouri.
Yeah, when you see a good run like that and then have to drop back with a penalty, it's kind of demoralizing to the team spirit altogether.
Kind of takes
because
the wind out of your sails a
it
little
does.
bit. But UCM still has a chance, 3rd and 4. Stoppage of play real quick.
Timeout. Central
Timeout
Missouri.
called by Central Missouri.
First charge.
Their first charge of the half. And I want to mention real quick an interesting factor about the passing yards compared between the two teams. I actually made a mistake earlier. When you compare the passing yards, it is still close, but I got the wrong number. So blame me if you want. Give me a slap on the knee, whatever you want to do. But in terms of passing yards, last season, Central Missouri was averaging 310 passing yards a game, while Pittsburg State was averaging 305. That is really, really close. And another key thing I want to point out here about Pittsburg State, offensively last season they put up an average of 40 points a game and gave up about 37. What that tells me, Dan, is Pittsburg State is a very good offensive team, but they will let you back in the game if their defense starts to allow breathing room. What's your take on Pittsburg State and how last season will compare to this season?
Well, if you look at a lot of games from Pittsburg State, they're really notorious for keeping a lot of close-end games. So that's why the scores were very close and only separated by a couple touchdowns. So it's pretty hard to try to maximize your efforts and hold a lead if you're easily letting touchdowns score and keeping the score close to a tie. So what you want to do is you want to try to keep a huge offensive jump and make it look like you're actually dominating the game. If you make really bad plays and you're letting in points too easy, you're bound to lose the game eventually.
We are back to playing action. 3rd and 4 from the Pittsburg State 22-yard line. Brooke Bowles gets the snap, drops back in the pocket, throws, has his man, and it's a first down for UCM. It's Parker again.
Parker.
This puts them in excellent field goal position because they're right around the 15. So all they can do is, they got a few downs to try to score, but nevertheless, they're in perfect position for the field goal because they're right inside that red zone.
And Parker is getting a very good share of offensive time on this opening drive. 1st and 10 from about the 20. Bowles a fake down the middle, and he's hammered. Brought down the play by number 11 in Pittsburg State White. That is Darian Taylor, 6'3", 206-pound junior. The head coaches, by the way, for both teams, for Central Missouri, Jim Savoda, and for Pittsburg State, Tim Beck, both in their 8th season with their respective schools. The difference is Savoda has been to more than one university, while Beck has spent his entire career at Pittsburg State. Beck is 60-32 all-time with Pittsburg State. Bowles finds a seam. He may go to the house. He's in there! Brooke Bowles! Touchdown, Mules! The seam opened up, and Bowles knew what to do with it.
That he did indeed. And he had enough pressure from a fellow teammate to start running in there, and he caught the linebacker sleeping because there was no effort put on Pittsburg State. And you can see by this replay, the linebacker basically gave up as soon as he saw that Brooke Bowles had excellent coverage, and he just took it into the end zone for a perfect 6 points.
And from what I saw right there, they left one man, Pittsburg State did, they left one defender basically on an island against 3 Mules. Extra point, look out, it's right at target.
Extra point by Langard.
Extra point is no good, but the Mules are on the board first. They lead 6-0 with 4:38 gone in our season opener. What do you like about that drive for UCM?
I like how they used a lot of their passing element. I noticed how when they were running, they were trying to run a lot through the middle, and running through the middle is always risky because as soon as you're running through the middle, you're always met with the defensive line. And it's always harder to run past the defensive line than it is to try to go through a pass. And once you're there to receive a pass, it's much easier to take the pass, catch it, and start running downfield. And as we saw when they were down there at the 17 and made it all the way to the 40-yard line, it was a perfect implement of how well that both teams know how to pass the ball effectively.
So now Pittsburg State will take their position on offense. Brooke Bowles, a 18-yard touchdown to begin the night. The extra point by Alex Langer missed wide right. So the Mules lead 6-0 as Pittsburg State will set up for their kick return. And I think that this is one aspect of football that a lot of people don't pay attention to a whole lot, and that's the special teams unit. But I think that when you have players like these who belong to the special unit teams, I think that you have players that can really make or break a team's game and possible season. Does that ring true to you, Dan?
It does, especially when you look at the field goal units of the special team. They're the ones that can actually make it or break it with just a few points to go on the board. Because if you look even in the professional sports, that even the field goal kickers make a huge difference, especially when they're kicking from 40 to 50 yards out.
Oh my goodness, there goes the pile. Close to the yard line. There were so many red jerseys I couldn't tell who the rusher was. Turns out that rusher for Pittsburg State was number 1. Well, I had Jalen Zachary for UCM for a moment. He's number 1 in UCM, but wearing number 1 for Pittsburg State. That is Slade Nordic on the run, down at about the 20-yard line. Brooke Bowles, by the way, on that last touchdown he scored, he went 2 for 4 in passing for 52 yards and a long of 45 to Parker. Here comes Pittsburg State to the outside. And brought down on the play. Is Lorenzo West. And gets to get a 9 on the play, but sorry for stuttering, but I think that Pittsburg State was looking for a face mask flag, and they didn't get one. So 2nd and 1 for the Gorillas. John Rodrigue is the quarterback to watch for Pitt State. He hands it off. It's a fake handoff. Throw over the middle, and that is caught at about down to the 40, down to the 35, down at the 33. Terrific pass to Austin Panko. First down, Pittsburg State. And that's what we talked about in our pregame, the passing ability of both quarterbacks. I tell you what, they make their presence known very early in this game. And the receivers and the rushers, all the offensive players, they've got to step up and support their quarterback. Panko did on that play.
It was all about perfect retaliation. The Mules came in and they did a perfect scoring drive with long passes and excellent runs, and that's exactly what Pitt State is doing right now.
Down about the 32, 1st and 10. Pittsburg State is into Mules territory. It's a handoff, flag on the play, and look out. I'm not sure if it was football or wrestling on that drive. Ramsey Hamilton was just demolished by number 90.
We also had a helmet come off from one of the Mules players.
Tryphoon Taylor came up with the sack right there. Flag on the play. It is a hold on Pittsburg State. So they'll read to the play 1st and 20. First and 20, a handoff. And the Mules will have none of it. Helmet comes off. We got a pile. Refs have to blow the whistle. And we have a flag on the play, but seemed like more controversy afterwards. We'll wait to see if this is another hold
No, I think there may be a little bit extra on that play.
I think so too. I think there's going to be more than one flag on this play. I only see one flag down on the field, but there was clearly a massive pileup.
There are 2 fouls on the same
There's 2
team.
fouls. Here they are.
Personal foul, face mask,
Face mask
number 90 defense.
on Central Missouri, number 90, Trifun Taylor.
The got face mask, helmet came off. He may remain in the game. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 90. After this the goal, first down.
2 penalties, a face mask and a personal foul called on number 90 of Central Missouri. Once again, Trifun Taylor picks up both flags.
And that's not good. That's not where you want to be if you're UCM right now, because
it
this puts them great in scoring position right now.
Puts Pittsburg State in the red zone, where they converted on 79% of their red zone possessions a season ago. That means they score or in 4 of at least 5 attempts. Here's a handoff, and down at about the 5-yard line for Pittsburg State, number 22, Mark Cushing.
Stopped by the Mules, number 39, Alex Lackey.
6 foot 225-pound senior from Wentzville, Missouri. 2nd and 3 from about the 5-yard line. Alex Lackey of Central Missouri came up with the tackle. Second and 3 from the 5. Handoff again to Cushing, down about the 2.
The ball carrier again for
I tell you what, we have a fantastic turnout tonight for both fan bases.
Yeah, especially when you have 2 big rivalries, especially for how long that UCM and Pittsburg State has been going at it, because this is the 55 matchup between the 2 teams. You're always going to get a good crowd.
Central Missouri Mules, by the way, come in the preseason poll as the number 21 ranked team in the country. Pittsburg State may not be ranked, but keep in mind, Pittsburg State had a tremendous long history of football success decades ago. Here's a handoff again to Cushing. He's down on a 3rd and 1. Did he get the first down? No, he didn't. UCM stopped him. It's 4th and 1 from the 3. Does Pittsburg State have to go for this?
I think they do. If they want to keep the pressure on UCM, and the way that they're going to do it is they're probably going to end up rushing the ball. And when you're usually this close, it's very risky.
Here's the replay right here. Daniel Albertson of UCM number 5 came up with the tackle right there, and that was a key stop right there for UCM. The question is, can they create a stone wall strong enough to stop Pittsburg State one more time? Pittsburg State will go for it. 4th and 1 from the 3. It's a handoff. Ball is dropped. And Roderick, I think he got the first down. I don't know. We'll wait to see on this one.
They messed up on the handoff, so the quarterback had ended up fumbling the ball.
It is not a first down. One umpire says, the one with the H on the back, he says it belongs to Central Missouri. No, it's Pittsburg State. They got the first down. John Roderick got the yard he was looking for.
And it almost looked like it was going to be a perfect turnover.
But I tell you what, that was close. That was not an easy call at all. Let's take a
not.
look at this again. Watch, he leans right there. Yeah, I think, that's a first down, because I know that most people look at where the knee goes down, but you have to look at where the knee goes down and where the ball is as well. Hand off, touchdown Gorillas. Tie ball game. And Pittsburg State has tied the game with a touchdown.
And although those running play, and we can see here that he was easily unmatched by the UCM defense, so he was able to creep across the corner, score the extra 6 points for him.
And I think that first down by John Roderick was definitely a backbreaker for Central Missouri. Here's the extra point attempt. This can put Pittsburg State on the upside, because UCM missed their extra point earlier. Gorillas lead by 1.
Extra point by Vincent is good.
Vincent gets the extra point.
We have immediate timeout on the field.
And with 6:33 to play, Pittsburg State is now up by 1. So we have played just about 8.5 minutes in this first quarter. What do you see, Dan, that is so important?
Well, I saw that on that driving play by Pittsburg State, a lot of their running plays were very sloppy, and especially when we saw that in the end zone, they were very sloppy, they were dropping the ball, and they couldn't look like they were too eager to get points on the board than they were to try to hold the uniform sector. But when they were passing the ball, they looked very comfortable, they looked very well put together, so they're definitely going to give UCM a run for their money when it comes to offense. As for the offensive side for UCM, they looked also very comfortable when they were passing, and as we mentioned beforehand, since the passing was a key factor for both teams on the field, there's going to be a lot more passing plays than there will be running plays.
Yes, indeed. But again, the rushing part of the offense was something that we did not expect for a majority of the game. We mostly expected, pass plays because both quarterbacks are so good with their throwing arms.
They do have a very excellent source of locating passers and getting the ball into their hands as quickly as possible. But when you take a look at how they're trying to run these plays, I think they're just trying to rush for yardage than they are actually trying to set up actual plays and moving the ball down the field.
I couldn't tell who had that touchdown for Pittsburg State. I know it was number 3, but unfortunately we do not have his name at the moment. But whenever we get the chance, we'll make sure to give him his spotlight. So sorry we didn't say his name earlier. We'll get to it whenever we can. So 7-6 Pittsburg State. Ball caught, I believe, by Zachary. Looking for space at about the 20, down about the 24.
Jalen Zachary on the return.
And what a terrific play. Pittsburg State going wild as once again they prevent Central Missouri from getting to the 30-yard line or better. And I think that is what Pittsburg State wants to have happen with their defensive special team. They want to make sure that UCM has to set up their offense on the start of each drive in their own zone, because in the past couple of years, Central Missouri has been terrific in terms of kickoff returns.
However, if history will repeat itself, Central Missouri in the very beginning of this quarter, they were down on the 17 and they launched a very excellent pass, put them on the 40-yard line. So we may see that here again.
45-yard gain to Parker. Bulls back, passes complete, down to about the 29. Catch is made for Central Missouri by number 85, Seth Hebert.
Paul Davis for Pitt State on the stop. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
We just got word now of the number 3 for Pittsburg State who scored the touchdown. Kaya Kitchen is who scored the touchdown. A 2-yard run. 8 plays, 80 yards for Pittsburg State on their last drive. Took 3 minutes and 43 seconds off the clock. 2nd and 6 for the Mules from their 29-yard line. Pass is complete again. And once again, it was Halbert. Seth Hebert, I should say.
And even though he was wide open there, he still was running into a very good intersection between 3 Pittsburg State players. Yes, he managed to move the ball forward, but I think he could have passed it to a better receiver to pick up the first down.
Yes, indeed, but Hebert has come up with 9 yards on 2 plays now. It's now 3rd and 1. Let's see what Brooke Bowles has in store here. Brooke Bowles saw playing time last year, playing 7 games last year, but UCM's main quarterback last year was Garrett Fugate, who went undrafted, and there's a first down for Central Missouri. They needed 1, and they get about 2. Rushing on that play for the first down for Central Missouri that time.
And now that they got room to breathe, I think they might be looking forward to that Hail Mary pass, as I should say.
Yes. Bowles steps back in the pocket, pressured, and had to throw it away.
False pass intended for Wesley Thomas.
Now 2nd and 10, and I think that we have a flag actually on the field just as we are giving getting some good some commentary.
Receiver downfield, number 88 was covered up, was it up for a pass. 5 yards in the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
5-yard penalty on Pittsburg State. So it's 1st and 5. Or excuse me, 1st and 15, my fault. And it was on UCM when he pointed towards the end zone to our right. I thought it was Pittsburg State, but we're all wrong on occasion.
Well, he was saying something about that the UCM receiver was covered,
Yeah.
but it should have been in UCM's favor.
So 1st and 15 with 5:03 remaining. First quarter, 7-6 Pittsburg State. 1st and 15, Bowles back in the pocket. Intercepted at the 30 and down at about the 24. What a play by the Gorillas.
By number 4, Jonte Baldwin.
Jonte Baldwin makes the play. Gorillas have it on the UCM 24-yard line. It's the first interception thrown by Bowles this year. Great anticipation.
And this is what the offensive defensive portion of the Pittsburg State defensive line looks like. They're quick on the interceptions, and occasionally when they have to, they will get in there and score. But this puts UCM in a tight spot because Pittsburg State can easily take the lead off of this if they do it correctly.
And we mentioned earlier which quarterback can lead their team to a better offensive performance. So far, I think it's been even on the most part, but that interception could put Pittsburg State back on the upside of that category. 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. Roderick the handoff. And that is a gain of about 9 yards on a play for the Gorillas. Brendan Franklin
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1 Gorillas.
on the drive.
And that looked like he was just carrying UCM defenders to the spot. He was plowing through them like it was nothing.
Second and 1. It's a fake in the end zone, incomplete. Is there a flag on the plate? No, there is not.
Roderick's pass intended for Austin Panko in the end zone.
Austin
incomplete.
Panko was the intended receiver.
Bring up
3rd and 1
down and 1 for
from the
Gorillas.
16-yard line.
Third down, Mules fans.
I didn't see a whole lot of pass interference on that, so I think it was a clean call at not throwing the flag there.
I made a mistake right there. They're actually at the 14-yard line. 3rd down in the UCM crowd. Looking to cheer on their Mules as they try and make another key defensive stop. And I think Pittsburg State got it.
Clark, the ball carrier for Pitt State, stopped by the Mules. Number 21, Colson Crane.
Colton Green on the tackle for Central Missouri. And it looks like the umpire is having a word with one of the Pittsburg State Gorillas. That is Zach Thomas,
Short of the first
number
down.
74 for Pittsburg State. He is short of the first down. It's another 4th and 1. Pittsburgh State 1 for 1 on 4th down today, but they will go ahead and kick a field goal.
Yeah, I think this is a wise decision here. It's always risky, especially when it's 4th and 1, to try to push for that first down. It's usually a safe bet, especially when you're this close, to get in there for a field goal.
Jaron Vincent looking for the field goal. Flag is down. It's either a false start or an offside. Delay a game on Pittsburgh State. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
And now with that big pushback, they definitely will have to go for a field goal at this point. There's no sense in rushing it now because it's just basically going to be a turnover.
They will attempt the field goal anyway. This is a 36-yarder. Jaron Vincent for 3 more. Does he have it? Yes, he does.
And that barely crept over the wickets as it looked like it was not going to go through. It looked very low going in there.
Field goal for Pittsburgh State. It puts them up 10-6 here in the first quarter. We have 3:22 to play in the first. Now, one of the things that I want to get to about tonight's game is the fact that this year in the MIAA, there is really a lot of great teams out there, because Pittsburg State finished tied for fourth in the MIAA last year with a 7-4 record. That says something about the MIAA conference. In fact, 3 teams in the MIAA are ranked in the top 25 coming into this year. Defending national champion Northwest Missouri State at number 1, Emporia State at number 4, and Central Missouri at number 21. Dan, what does that say about the MIAA conference in terms of having 3 teams in the top 25?
I think it's going to give every other team that UCM and both Pittsburg State are going to have to face a little bit of run for their money, because they're going to have to put the effort in to try to knock these guys out of their positioned rankings and try to improve their rankings up. It's always a little difficult to see that when you see good teams like Pittsburg State that's not even ranked. It kind of makes you wonder what Pittsburg State could do to improve to make sure that they do clinch a ranking in the MIAA.
Well, right now, all Pittsburg State is thinking about right now is this game with Central Missouri, but I agree 100% with you on that. The MIAA conference is one of the toughest conferences in Division II.
That's right.
So we are now set for another kickoff. Pittsburg State 10, Central Missouri 6. Here's the kickoff. Caught by Kobe Wilkerson about the 3. He's at the 10, at the 15, at the 20, down at about the 23. And again, another key stop by Pittsburg State special team defense. Both teams so far have been very close in terms of total yards. Pittsburg State 98, Central Missouri tops that at 103, but the key thing to point out is that turnover and missed extra point by Central Missouri. If you flip that extra point, suddenly they're only down by a field goal, and you take away that field goal Pittsburg State scores, and all of a sudden you got a new ball game.
Yes.
1st and 10 from about the 23. Bowles a fake. Bowles is running past the 25 at about the 30, gain of 7. Pittsburg State, one of their key factors is to get Brooke Bowles under control. They've done a nice job so far at defending their rushing plays for the most part, taken away, except for that play where Brooke Bowles ran it in for an 18-yard touchdown, or excuse me, a 13-yard touchdown. But they have to make sure that they keep Bowles under control. A rush play to Wilkerson, and he goes flying into the Pittsburg State dugout. Pittsburg State, I said dugout for a moment. I meant to their bench. Gain of 5 and a first down for Central Missouri.
Yeah, that was a very good evidence of an audible lateral pass that just made Wilkerson sneak in there. And as you can see, 16 tripped himself up. So if 16 did not trip himself up, he would have made the tackle, and Wilkerson would have not made that first down.
I don't know if you saw or not on that replay. He got his leg caught up in the bench. Wilkerson, another handoff. He's got a first down and more at the 50, out of about the 46. Wilkerson again. Dan, a gain of 19, another first down.
This is a surprising technique by UCM because they understand that Brooke Bowles has an excellent cannon of an arm. And as we saw early on in the game with the 45-yard pass, he's capable of throwing the long ball and capable of making passes. But this rush game is a completely different tactic that I don't think Pittsburg State is exactly trying to understand, but they're also able to come back and keep the rushes very little and enough for the first down.
2:05 remaining in the first. Bowles a handoff at about the 35, and I think that's another first down. Dante Turner. It is another first down. Gain of 11. 3 straight plays, 3 first downs. And if I'm Tim Beck right now, the head coach of Pittsburg State, I'm concerned about my defense and trying to stop these rushing plays, because I think Pittsburg State right now is expecting more of a pass game from Bowles, not a handoff.
Yes, I would go with an actual closer up and kind of scrunched up defense because they're slipping through all the gaps.
Bowles cannot slip the gap right there. He's brought down instantly. I think that's only a gain of 1 on the play.
And Pittsburg State.
Dan Bingham with the tackle. It's actually a loss of 2 on the play, 2nd and 12. Here it is again. Yeah, right there. Number 71 for Central Missouri, as you see right there on your screen, was the man who was defending against the tackler and let him go right past him. 2nd and 12. Bulls looking. Pass is intercepted again. Pittsburg State, despite giving up 3 rushing first down plays, a second first quarter interception, Demetrius Bernard.
And this is the second time this has happened. The first interception, Brooke Bowles got tipped, and a Pittsburg State defenseman was right there to make the catch. This second time, Brooke Bowles was tipped again. As we can see here, we see the defender come in. He was tipped, and the defenseman on Pittsburg State was able to make the catch, and we're able to see the defensive, offensive Pittsburg State yet again. Now the key thing is, do we see them strike for another 6 points, or are they going to give it up?
We have 54 seconds to go in the first quarter. John Rodriguez back in, a handoff. Good defense by UCM to stop the runner. And no gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
And it looks like Pittsburg State is actually trying to mirror the UCM technique of rushing the ball, even though John Dominique has a great arm. So it's interesting to see why they're trying to do all of these rush passes when each team knows that they're capable of throwing the long ball.
Yes. 2nd and 9, actually, a gain of 1 on the play. Rodriguez looking to pass this time. Pressure gets it away just in time. Incomplete pass. And no flag. 3rd and 9. Austin Panko, again the intended receiver.
And it'll bring up 3rd down and 9, Pitt State.
3rd and 9 for Pitt State. We got 14 seconds to go in the first quarter. Pittsburg State by 4.
And it sounds like the crowd here at Walton J Stadium is electrified.
Rodriguez once again back in the pass formation. He's pressured, gets away from it, throws, complete pass. Very close to a first down. Catch is made by Lorenzo West. He's not deep enough for a first down. I think it's about 4th and 1, and that's going to end the first quarter. Montez Lattimore makes the tackle. Yes, that will end the first quarter. So we've played 15 minutes here at Central Missouri. Pittsburg State leads 10-6. We're coming back with the second quarter after this break. You're listening to Mules Football on Central Television.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can.
Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Don't want to miss out on any of the live UCM athletics action? You can watch it all through Blue Frame Technologies, thanks to the MIAA Network and CTV Central Television. 2 ways to gain access. You can either go to ucmathletics.com, click on the Multimedia tab, and select Live Video, or you can hover over your desired game, select the live video icon, and you're in. Either way will direct you to the University of Central Missouri page on the MIAA Network. Already purchased an account? Great! Just log in and select your game. If you don't have an account, simply click the Purchase Access button, create your account, and then select your viewing plan. It's that easy. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up, log in, and start cheering on your University of Central Missouri Mules and Jennies.
Welcome back to Central Missouri Mules football on Central Television. We played 1 quarter between Central Missouri and Pittsburg State. Pittsburg State is on the upside by a score of 10-6. Central Missouri had the opening touchdown of this game. Missed the extra point. Pittsburg State came back with a touchdown of their own after a 4th and 1 conversion. And then an interception allowed by Central Missouri allowed a field goal for Jaron Vincent to kick a 36-yarder straight through the uprights to make it 10-6. UCM turned over again on another interception, but now they will get it back on a 4th and 1. That kick goes out of bounds at about the 29. And Central Missouri will reset their offense. Taking a look at the box score for the first quarter, Dan, what do you see that has been such a factor?
I see a lot of rushing plays. The factor is that the offense has found a way to smash through both defensive lines to pick up as many first downs as they can. As we saw before the break here at the quarter, we saw UCM with 3 first downs on rushing plays. And with that, it puts the ball in excellent position as they keep running the ball up and down the field. But what really surprises me is the lack of passing, because both quarterbacks are capable of passing that long ball, but the lack of passing is really confusing, I think, a lot of people.
It's a handoff again. And what a terrific play. Cody Wilkerson did not get anything on that play. Tackle made for Pittsburg State. I think it's loss of 1 on the play. Keon Inkle makes the tackle. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Bowles waiting for the snap, looks around, claps, here's the snap, handoff to Wilkerson again, splits a seam, good run here at about the 45, up to the 50, 45, brought down about the 42. Wilkerson again.
Yeah, and as soon as he split that seam, it was free range for him, and he just took off running. And the result is he picked up an excellent amount of yardage on that running play.
It was as if the rusher wearing Mules red split the Red Sea. Here it is again. Now 1st and 10 from the Pittsburg State 42. Bowles looking to pass. It's a deep Hail Mary. Doesn't get Parker. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
And it almost looked like Parker actually gave up on the throw. He thought it was going way over his head, but as it bounced, it was only a few inches in front of him. So we'll have to see if they're going to try that again or if they're going to rely to that infamous running play that's been getting them so much yardage in this first half here.
2nd and 10. Again from the Pittsburg State 43. Here's the snap to Bowles. Steps back in the pocket under pressure. Throws and tipped off the hands of Zachary. Incomplete again. Once again, terrific defense by Pittsburg State to force the incomplete pass.
3rd down, Mules.
And Jalen Zachary, as I mentioned earlier, is tied for 7th all-time for Central Missouri in touchdowns for a career with 17. But so far, Dan, he hasn't been very effective.
No, he hasn't. He's only been able to touch the ball on the kickoff. He hasn't been touching much of the ball as soon as they're running down the field. So it's interesting to see why he's not been a key factor of this offensive drives.
3rd and 10. Bowles to pass again. Let's see if he can complete this time. He's going to run it, but not enough for a first down. I think that's a gain of about what looks to be about 7. Down at about the 35. Kyrie Simmons makes the tackle. It's going to bring up 4th and 2, gain of 8.
And he had plenty of room to run, especially when that offensive lineman was right there to make the block. As you can see, he took the pocket, goes right through the pocket, and you can see number 54 makes an excellent stop to get him in there.
And look out, just as we say that, touchdown Mules! Just as we see that, Devontae Turner goes in the end zone, but we have a flag on the play. I don't know if this touchdown's going to count. Holding on Parker.
And that really takes a big damper out of the spirits. As soon as you see an excellent rush play like that, they have to take away the touchdown due to a simple bonehead error such as holding. And that'll really take the pride out of UCM's spirits because it looked like they were about to take this game and start taking the lead.
And now it looks like the Mules have to punt. It's now 4th and 12. They will send out the punt unit. But that's kind of been the story of this game so far for Central Missouri, the breaks have not gone their way. They've gone Pittsburg State's way, and sometimes you're not going to be, and most of the time actually, you're not going to beat many teams when you give them opportunities like that.
No, if the other team can see that you're making bonehead plays, they're going to pick up on it, and they're going to take it into their own hands and make a better portion out of it.
Kickoff. Will it go back into the end zone? No. Out about the 4-yard line. Terrific kick by Davidson. And it puts Pittsburg State deep in their own spot. So great play by Central Missouri not to allow the touchback right there.
And this allows Central Missouri to take the defensive line and keep pushing them back and trying to score safety.
We talked about the red zone scoring for Pittsburg State in 2016, 79%. Tonight, they're 2 of 2 in the red zone, and Central Missouri is 1 for 1. How much pressure on the defense is there whenever your opponent is in the red zone? And the red zone would be 20-yard line or close to the end zone. How much pressure is there on the defense when your opponent gets in that kind of position?
There's a huge amount of pressure because there's literally only 20 yards from the ball and a possible 6 points slapped up on the scoreboard. And if you miss a single opportunity, a single tackle, or fail to make a pass incatchable, then that's a mistake on you, and that's 6 points up on the board that can either put you ahead or put you behind.
Do you think what Central Missouri has to do after making a couple of mistakes like that penalty flag on Parker and those 2 interceptions, what can you do at that point? Can you just take it for what it was and move on, or do you have to learn from it, or both?
You'll definitely have to learn from it. And if you keep making plays like this all entire game, Pittsburg State's going to take this game and walk away with it. There's no doubt about it. But there is a way that you can kind of suck it up and move on, because we still have a whole another half to play, and the whole other half to play, that's going to be the difference maker in this game.
And the fans are remaining optimistic here at Central Missouri tonight. 1st and 10 from the 3-yard line. Pittsburg State looking to operate. John Rodriguez back to pass, throws wide open and down at about the 31-yard line. Javon Wilson, a gain of 28, 1st down Pittsburg State. That's a confusion right there. Here it is again, Dan. Break it down.
Well, you can see that with Dominique, he's got the arm, and he can take the ball wherever he wants to go. As long as he can see a wide receiver open just like that, he can take the ball as long as he needs to.
But that was a great throw that time by John Rodriguez.
That was.
Gain of 27, actually, at the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 again. John Rodriguez, a handoff. Gain of about 3. Tyler Atkins, the ball carrier for Pittsburg State. His first touch. And it will be 2nd and 8. 12 minutes remaining in this first half. Pittsburg State up by 4. Shade of defense from the Mules sideline. Handoff again. Down at about the 36. Atkins once again the ball carrier.
I'm beginning to notice a big pattern here, that there's going to be a whole lot of running when they're inside the middle of the field. I think that's probably because there's enough room for them. If they happen to get tackled behind the line of scrimmage, they're not going to be losing a whole lot of yardage and putting them in a big error zone.
3rd and 5 for Central Missouri. 3rd and 5 for Pittsburg State at their own 35. Roderick back to pass, throws, caught, and oh, that is close. That is close to a 1st down. They will get the 1st down, I believe. Yes, they will. 1st down, Pittsburg State. Catch by Javon Wilson. 2 catches and 2 first downs for Wilson, the 6'5" senior.
And that was a good effort on him to hold on. He had 4 Mules on him, but he was able to hold on for that 1st down.
Fake handoff. Rodriguez to pass in the pocket. Incomplete pass.
Pass intended for
And that would have been a good streamlined pass. That receiver was wide open. If he would have caught that, that would have been touchdown city.
Just a little too high on that play. But we've seen a lot of rushing plays, as we mentioned. Do you think that has to do with the amount of trust that Roderick and Bulls have in their rushing unit?
It is. But if you also look at every rushing play, the running back has easily found a way to escape through the offensive line to pick up that yardage. So it's been great for first down conversions.
Roderick is down. Sorry if I went too loud through your speakers back home. But what a play by Dylan Albertson. Loss of 5 on the play, 3rd and 15 from the 35. Albertson's been very effective, Dan.
He has.
Break this one down.
Well, it looks like that Dominique was ready to go in for the pass, but the Mules were really anticipating this play, so they jumped the gun and they were able to bring him down 5 behind.
First sack of the night for either team. Well, if you can call it a sack, that looked like more of a push down to me rather than a sack.
That's true.
But it was a loss of yards on the play, 3rd and 15. Roderick looking to pass again, long throw. Oh, almost picked off. And it'll be a 4th down. Terrific play.
And it looked like right after that sack, the entire defensive line's opportunity of effectiveness just jumped through the roof. It looks like they're affecting more. It looks like their plays are starting to pick up, and it looks like the energy of them all has actually jumped because they're able to start sacking their opponents. They found a vulnerable weakness, so they're able to pick up on it, and they're actually able to start doing what a defensive line does, and that's put pressure on the quarterback.
Montez Lattimore with the near interception right there. I think that stop will get a jump in UCM's system.
That will.
9:45 to go. Here is the punt attempt. Dropped at about the 27. So UCM will set back up on their offense. I want to talk about Jalen Zachary again for a moment. We know he hasn't been effective as running back Kobe Wilkerson, but do you think that they're resting Jalen Zachary for the second half, or does Kobe Wilkerson just have a great rushing game that is worth taking in?
It'll definitely be interesting to see if they're going to put him in the second half. But yet again, it is also early in the season. So what they also could be doing is maybe saving him for a later game to make sure that he is actually very effective against a weaker opponent. So it's interesting to see what they got planned in store for us in the second half.
Every game is vital, whether who you rest and who you put on the field, and a hammer. Loss of play. Devontae Turner was the ball carrier. Loss of yardage on the play. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. That time Pittsburg State read the rush beautifully.
And it's like I said before, these bonehead mistakes made by UCM, Pittsburg State has been able to pick up on them. And like we see here, we got some loss of yardage.
2nd and 12. Bulls looking to pass. It's a deep Hail Mary down the field, too long. Intended receiver was Parker. 3rd and 12.
Brings up 3rd down, Mules, 3rd and 12.
And it seemed like just when the Mules got a little hop in their step after stopping Pittsburg State from scoring for the first time tonight, they find themselves in a 3rd and long.
And it seems like Pittsburg State picked up on that and noticed, hey, we're still in this game. We're still going to make sure that we're going to be in there to keep this ball in our territory.
Well, both teams are still very much in this. We still got another full half remaining.
That is true.
Plus 8 minutes and change on the clock here in this second quarter. Third and 12. Bulls looking. Finds his man. Hammered down on the play. Catch is made by Devontae Turner. It's not enough for a first down. It's about a 4th and 1. Gain of 11 on the play. I don't know. I think they should punt on this one.
They definitely should. It's way too risky, especially when they're really close to the 40-yard line like this, to keep trying to push for a first down. If they punt, it's a nice, safe bet, and they can let the defensive ride. The defense was able to sack the quarterback, and if they can do that again, they can still keep putting pressure on the Pittsburg State offense.
Zach Davidson, the kicker for UCM. Austin Panko for Pittsburg State is back waiting to receive. Catches it about the 22. Run up to about the 25. Runs to the outside to the 30, 35. Down at the 40. Austin Panko doing it all in terms of receiving.
That was a very effective run play right there.
First down, Pittsburg State. We have a media timeout on the field.
If you have an interest in communications,
as Pittsburg State sets up their offense, we have just under 8 minutes remaining in this first half. What do you like about John Roderick so far in this game?
He's been able to make a lot of smart plays. He's been able to do a lot of rushing. He's been able to do excellent amounts of passing. And his passes haven't been as wild as UCM's passing by Brooke Bowles. His passes have seemed to look more on track and more towards the player. However, Brooke Bowles, his passes are looking very wild, and they're also sailing over receivers' heads a little more yardage than they should be. It just looks like Roderick is able to go in there, get his passes done, and make it effective enough to where it's enough to get an offensive drive going and enough to get the offense down into the end zone.
Well put, partner. 7:57 remaining. Pittsburg State with a 10-6 lead here in the opener of the 2017 collegiate football season. Pittsburg State has it from the 40-yard line. John Roderick, quarterback tonight for Pittsburg State, has done the job so far for Pittsburg State. They have scored on 2 of their first 3 possessions. Would love to make it 3 for 4 here. But first, a flag on the play. It looks like a false start. It is. False start on Ryan Dodd, number 73 for Pittsburg State, at the who just passed the top right corner of your screen. So 1st and 15.
And when you have a big momentum play like that rushing yard off of that punt return and having to go back another 5 yards, that's just making a big struggle for your offensive line.
First and 15. Handoff. And UCM is right there to answer. 2 Mules take down Atkins. Gain of about 1 on the play. 2nd and 14.
End of the play for the Mules, Michael Kennyhill.
I think that now we've seen a lot of rushing plays from both sides. I think the defense is, more aware that the running game can come at any time.
Yeah, they're right there to anticipate it, so it's easy to see that they're going to be able to only get 1 or 2 yards now.
I didn't think that both defenses expected the rushing game as often as we've seen tonight, but now they're ready for it. It's a handoff again to Atkins. Atkins fights through Mules defenders down at about the 42. Gain of 6 on the play. It's about 3rd and 8.
Pushed out of bounds by the Mules, number 24, Joshua Terry.
Joshua Terry with the push to get Atkins out of bounds. It is a 3rd and 8. Let's take a look at this again.
And he was able to breeze right through that open slot there and avoid the tackle. But once he was there, he was greeted by a bunch of Mules to get brought down right there at around the 42.
Great running backs. Whenever they get an opening, they're going to take it, and they're going to look to shift the defense all at the same time.
And that's when you have to rely on your defensive backs and your safeties to kind of clean up after the mess that the defensive line has kind of just left open.
Roderick's 3rd and 8 pass is incomplete to Lorenzo West. It's 4th and 8, and once again, Pittsburg State has to punt it away. So now the defenses are stepping up here as we take a look at this part of this sellout crowd here on opening night.
And as tight as this game is, I don't see why everybody should be not on their feet. It's very close, but we still have another half to go. And it's always interesting to see how everything's going to work out.
Yes. I think it's awfully quiet right now because not a whole lot has happened on offense for either team in the past 5 minutes or so. Ball is dropped, loose on the ground. Who's got it? Let's see. I think Central Missouri has it. Let's see.
Yeah, I do believe Central Missouri picked up that recovery very nicely.
It is recovered by the Mules. That was close to being another turnover. Franklin Hunt keeps the ball. Central Missouri will maintain possession at, I think, about the 28-yard line.
Well, it looked like the receiver was already starting to run without the ball firmly in his hands. And without that, you're going to end up fumbling the ball like he just did.
Well, I tell you what, Franklin Hunt was just under a mountain of players, and luckily some of those guys weren't 300 pounds. Otherwise, they probably have to scrape him off, literally have to scrape him off the field.
Like a bug on a windshield.
With either a scraper or a spatula. Back to action, handoff to Wilkerson, stays on his feet. What a play there at the 40, 45, and down about midfield. Holy cow, Wilkerson is everywhere, and he says, let's go, crowd, let's go. This crowd has not had a lot to cheer about for the past 5 minutes or so. That'll get them on the woken up side.
As long as the crowd can stay into it, they can keep feeding energy to the UCM team, and that's what UCM needs right now to try to take this lead before the half.
And that's what Pittsburg State is trying to do for the many Pittsburg State fans that came out here tonight. Bowles pass incomplete for Taylor. 2nd and 10.
Second down, UCM.
I know it's early in the season, but I think we should give Kobe Wilkerson a nickname from what we've seen so far, Flash. Because, I mean, think about it. Every rush we've seen, he's been lightning quick. And I mentioned earlier I went to high school with him, played football. Also a great basketball player, very athletic, very skilled. He even hit a half-court shot in a basketball game once. So this guy has done it all, and I was very happy to get the pleasure to meet him. Here's Wilkerson again, down at about the 30. He was so fast, even our cameras couldn't keep up with him.
Oh, those cameramen and women.
Oh, but we love them anyway.
Yes.
Gain of 20. 1st and 10 from the 30.
Like you said, if they can't keep up with Flash, he's going to go down into the end zone. But they met him at the 30, brought him down.
Well, that's a nickname that I've given him. I think that probably the football team gives him another nickname. But one thing is for sure, he is very quick off his feet. They find Taylor this time. Another 1st down, down about the 16. Taylor. Maybe that 1st down will get him going.
It's certainly getting the crowd a little bit more oomph in their step here. They're starting to get a little bit more excited now that they're inside the red zone. So it looks like UCM might take this lead with still 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Well, let's not count chickens until they hatch, because even though both teams are 100% in red zone possessions, UCM has 2 turnovers. Anything can happen, but a score here, a touchdown here would give Central Missouri the lead. They have led once tonight. They led 6-0. Pass way incomplete. Looked like Parker was trying to go to the end zone, but broke the other way. 2nd and 10.
Brings up 2nd down.
And that's a good example of what I was talking about with a lot of sloppy passing from Brooke Bowles. All of his passes seem to go a few yards ahead of where his receivers are needing to be. So I don't know if it's his sloppy passing or the fact that the receivers are trying to count these passes way too longer than they actually need to be.
Think it's off-season rust?
Possibly is.
2nd and 10. Play clock is down to 5. Brooke Bowles gets it. 2nd and 10. Looking to run. He does. Gets away from a tackler, but doesn't get a whole lot. Gain of about 2 on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 8.
And that looked like a late decision to run. He looked like he was about to go in for the pass, but he panicked a little bit, went in for the run, and he was only able to get up around maybe a yard.
Demetrius Bernard with the tackle also came up with the 2nd interception for Pittsburg State tonight. There was no gain on the play. It looked like there was, but not the umpires. This is not baseball. The referees say no yardage.
I guess that would be 3 strikes and he's out.
3rd and 10. Bowles again to pass. Once again hits the ground and not a receiver. 4th and 10. And it looks like UCM will bring out the field goal unit.
Brings up 4th down, Central Missouri.
This will be a 34-yard field goal if Central Missouri goes for it. I think the wise thing to do here would just be to go for 3 points and then reset for kickoff.
And if they go for 3 points, it'll only keep them 1 point behind Pittsburg State, which is a very comfortable spot to be because 1 point can easily be made up by a touchdown or a field goal.
But this is a key field goal right here to try and cut it to 1.
That's right.
Keep in mind, UCM has a missed extra point tonight. 34-yard field goal. Splits the uprights and good. Flag on the play, however. So I think they're going to take the 3 points away. False start. Illegal formation called on Central Missouri. 5-yard penalty. It's now a 39-yard field goal. And that brings the Pittsburg State fans to applause.
And that just makes it a little bit tougher for UCM's kicker to get in there to put the ball right through the old wickets and the uprights. But if they're able to do it, they're able to make it a 10-9 ball game, and we'll have something to work with only 3 and some change here in the first half.
Once again, a 39-yard field goal now for Central Missouri.
That'd be
Alex Langer. Got it. How about that? 34-39. I'll take it just fine, thank you. So the Mules cut it to 1. 10-9. Alex Lanker missed the extra point earlier, but take a 39-yard field goal. I'll go for it anyway. So 10-9 in favor of Pittsburg State.
And this certainly puts a little bit more pep in UCM's crowd because they know it's a tighter game.
Yes.
And we're starting to see that the defensive line is starting to slip a little bit like they were notorious for last season. And now that the game is close, we still have to figure out who's going to take charge and take a big enough lead to smash through and keep the game on pace before the second half here.
Central Missouri, with that 39-yard field goal, that's the first score of the second quarter. Pittsburg State, throughout all of last season, they were outscored 133 to 124 in the second quarter if you combine all 11 games they played in a season ago. That's the only quarter that they were outscored overall. For Central Missouri, it was the fourth quarter, 101 to 89.
And that's just a perfect example of how Pittsburg State's defensive line easily gives up points to keep the games close and close and close.
Kickoff for Central Missouri. That's going to go back into the end zone. And touchback.
Touchback, Pitt State.
So Pittsburg State will take possession at about the 20-yard line. Something interesting to point out tonight in terms of third down conversions. Pittsburg State is 1 for 6. UCM is 3 for 7. But if you look at fourth downs, both teams are 100%, 1 for 1 on fourth downs, and 100% on red zone scoring. What does that tell you?
It tells me that they're making the effort to actually strive to get in for the first down. And then when they come up to the bottom nail and tooth of in the red zone on fourth down, they're able to come up with it and make a scoring play out of it.
Possession actually started at the 25-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play. West, the ball carrier, tackled by Jackson Newman of Central Missouri, number 42 in red. Now 2nd and 4 from the Gorillas' 26-yard line. Throw by Roderick. And pass is complete to Austin Painko for a first down. About the 46. About the 45, excuse me, gain of 14. Gorillas going quickly to the offense. Roderick again, the pass to the side.
Roderick's pass completed to
Pass is complete to Tucker Horick.
Knocked out of bounds.
And he was knocked out of bounds.
By the Mules, Mark Cushing.
Knocked out of bounds by Mark Cushing for a gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Just under 3 minutes to go, first quarter. Roderick, fake handoff, throw. Oh, a spin tackle Pass complete to Javon Wilson. And that's a 3rd down and 1. Not quite enough for the 1st down, but good position. If you want to be in, if you're in a 3rd down, you want a 3rd and short.
Yes, and it looks like here they're 3rd in inches, so they will probably be running a running play because all they got to do is just briefly rush through the offensive line.
Pittsburg State is 1 for 6 on 3rd down, make it 2 of 7. Roderick takes the ball himself, spins his way to the 37, 1st down.
Stop on the Mules, number 42, Jackson Newman, and 39, Alex Lackey. 1st down, Gorillas, at the Mules, 38.
We approach the 2-minute warning. There's the stats on John Roderick. First and 10, fake handoff, and sacked by 2 Mules.
Roderick stopped in the backfield. Stopped by the Mules, number 39, Alex Lackey.
We have whistles on the field, but Trevor Taylor with the tackle. Timeout called by Pittsburg State. Here it is again.
And you see 2 Mules just come in and jump the quarterback, John Dominique, and they put him right on the mouth of Mo the Mule there. That was a very important sack because if you look at how close that Pittsburg State was to actually getting in there to go into the red zone territory, and as we noticed, the red zone territory is where both teams have been able to go 100%, but this sack is very huge for UCM because they're able to keep this a 1-point ball game with still under 2 minutes to go in the 1st half.
And the rushing yard story, which has been one of the main themes of the night, the stats speak for themselves. UCM in rushing yards, 156. Pittsburg State, 67. Total yards on the night so far, UCM leads 241 to 146. But Pittsburg State finds himself up by 1, and I think it's mainly because UCM has not gotten their breaks with flags, and Pittsburg State has forced 2 turnovers. Do you agree with that, or is there more?
Yes, it's really huge, especially with those 2 interceptions that just take the breath away from UCM's offensive line. And when they have to rush out and put the defense back on, it's really taken a damper on UCM's pride because they were able to get so far down the field and have to waste all that effort with a pointless interception.
Possession time so far has been very close. 15 minutes of possession time for UCM, 11 minutes and 6 seconds for Pittsburg State, and you can add more with this drive. Run to the outside. Will he go to the house? Stopped just short about the 5-yard line. What a run for Pittsburg State.
And he had room to breathe on that one. He saw an opening and he was eating turf at the 5. He was able to get there, get what he needed, and now they're in that ever dangerous zone of the red zone. So they could go 3 for 3 on the night and completely change the attitude of this entire game.
Pittsburg State is right where they want to be right now. 1st and 5 in the red zone. A chance to make this a 2-possession game. Roderick the handoff. Touchdown. Pittsburg State.
Michael Rose, the ball carrier for Pitt State.
Michael Rose has the touchdown. 16-9, and the Gorillas with another huge possession. It puts them up by almost 2 possessions going into the half.
And if I was UCM right now, I would take this whole entire minute to try to slow down and think about what I'm going to do to try to keep this game at a 1-point ball game.
Because Pittsburg State gets the ball to begin the 2nd half.
That is right.
Extra point is blocked. Oh, look at that. Loose on the floor.
Extra point by Vincent.
Picked up by Pittsburg State. But holy cow, what a turnaround. UCM missed an extra point. Pittsburg State gets one of their extra point attempts rejected. So
and that looked like redemption there for letting that touchdown in before the half. It looked like somebody put a jump in the defensive line step to get in there and make sure that that ever important block on that kick was right where it needed to be.
Who knows, maybe that Maybe that missed point could be one of the difference makers as we continue with this ball game.
And now UCM is actually just a touchdown away and an extra point from tying this ball game. And they still have a minute left to do it before Pittsburg State takes the ball over in the second half.
Michael Tannehill came up with the block on the extra point for Central Missouri. So with a minute and 1 second to go in the first half, Gorillas lead 16-9. They will get the ball, as we mentioned, to begin the second half. Can Central Missouri put up a couple more points before the half comes to a close? One thing is for sure, it's easier said than done. Both teams have 2 timeouts left in the first half.
They do, and as football is notoriously known, when there's 30 seconds left or 45 seconds left on the clock, coaches will be burning those timeouts just to try to make sure that the next play is super effective. So it'll be interesting to see what UCM can pull out here and try to keep the game tied going into this half.
Here's the kick. It will be caught by Wilkerson. Here he comes at the 10, at the 15, down at about the 20, stays on his feet, brought down about the 23. With 55 seconds on the clock, make it 53.
And I think if he didn't trip up on his feet there, he actually could have grabbed a few more yards and put UCM in a better position for this offensive drive, the last one possibly of the first half here.
So 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. Bowles back to pass. Bowles looking. Bowles incomplete.
Bowles pass intended for number 15, Wesley Thomas.
Intended for Wesley Thomas. 2nd and 10.
Second down, Mules.
Second and 10. Bowles looking to pass. Gets away from the sack. Looking for room. Throwing downfield. Incomplete again. Intended receiver was Jalen Zachary.
And that was excellent work by Brooke Bowles on that play. It looked like he was about to accept the sack and almost get tackled on the ground there, but he was able to shake it off and almost try to gain some yardage. I think if he would have ran that ball, he could have picked it up to maybe about 3 and 5 on that run.
Brooke Bowles is now 6 for 18 in passing in this first half. 3rd and 10. He's in trouble, has to throw it away. Great defense by Pittsburg State.
The ball made it past the line of scrimmage. 4th down.
Intentional grounding is called. Still 4th down and 10.
And with not much room to work here, it looks like they will have to punt.
Back to punt for Central Missouri. Austin Pinko deep for the Gorillas.
Austin Panko is back deep for the Gorillas. Here's the punt. Panko catches it about the 32, down about the 39. Excuse me, down about the 40. What's to be the 44? 22 seconds to play in the first half.
The Mules.
Gorillas 16, Mules 9.
And looking over these past stats from this first half here, instead of the quarterback making the difference, it's actually been the wide receivers and in the running backs which have been making all the plays dominant because of all the running plays that have been played and have actually been very effective for both teams here in this first half.
Handoff. And down, spinning out of bounds, gain of about 4. Tucker Hort, the ball carrier.
Knocked out of bounds by the
Knocked
Mules.
out of bounds. And I think that's going to end the first half, Dad. 3 3, 2, 1, and that will end the first half. So we've played the first half here of the season opener between Central Missouri and Pittsburg State. The Gorillas lead by a score of 16-9, but there's still another full half remaining. Can Pittsburg State hold on? Can UCM come from behind like they did last year? Well, we'll just have to wait until the second half to find out. We'll see you in the third quarter. We'll be back.
What if news wasn't just a commodity,
but a commitment?
The fiscal cliff is a fiscal suicide.
Why shouldn't we explore every side of the story?
The Syrian army had pulled back.
Where can you turn for news you can trust?
How do we make sense of something like this?
On PBS, we believe journalism should never stop asking questions.
Give to your PBS station and support independent journalism.
We answer to no one but you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to live coverage of Central Missouri Mules football on Central Television. We played one half of the season opener between Central Missouri and Pittsburg State. Pittsburg State leads 16-9 as we begin the third quarter and the second half. My name is Evan Holmes, and with me is my good partner Dan Swoboda. Pittsburg State will receive to begin the second half. Let's go. That will be caught at about the 3-yard line. And slipping to the defenders down at about the 25. Slade Nordic on the return. And Pittsburgh State at about the 25-yard line. Dan, when you look back at the box score for the first half, what strikes you as being the key difference maker through 30 minutes?
Obviously, it was the rushing game. Considering that both of these quarterbacks are key players when it comes to passing, however, there was more rushing plays throughout the entire first half that really caught a lot of the defense off guard, especially when you see the amount of first down conversions off of rushing plays.
I don't think we expected to see 156 rushing yards to 119 rushing yards in the first half. It's a fake throw, now a run, and a gain of about 7. Thomas LePage, the backup quarterback, is in for Pittsburg State. Michael Tannehill with the tackle. Thomas LePage, very skilled backup quarterback, and between him and John Roderick, both guys saw even amounts of playing time actually last season. Roderick appeared in 9 games while LePage appeared in 7. So LePage will start for the second half. 2nd and 4 for Pittsburg State from about the 31-yard line. A fake handoff, a throw, and a flag is down. It's going to be pass interference on UCM.
Pass by LePage to number 18, Brenner Clemens, incomplete. Penalty flag down.
I believe it will be pass interference, and I think that's what they're going to call here. And once again, those are the flags that I think have really hurt Central Missouri in the first half. It's an automatic first down for Pittsburg State.
And when you take a look at last season, the Mules were actually only ranked 16th when it came to penalties.
In the entire country?
In the entire division, not in the entire country. So they were actually a really well-disciplined team when it came to the amount of flags that were against them.
And we've seen quite a bit of flags against them. Good defense there, though. Oh, man, show some emotion, young man. on that one.
Well, when you block a key running play like that, I wouldn't mind jumping around myself.
2nd down and 11. Colson Crane makes the play. I tell you what, Crane was fired up on that one. Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and 11. Fake handoff. It's to the throw, incomplete. No pass interference there.
And that was a really hard pass to the offensive man there. looked like a really good streamlined bullet, but if he would have connected, it would have been open territory and touchdown city.
What made it so difficult? Was it the fact that there were 3 Mules right in the Page's grill?
It was not. It was actually the speed of the pass.
Really?
The defenders were already there to make the tackle, but the speed of the pass was way too offset for the receiver to put his hands around, slip right through his hands, incomplete pass.
Thank you, Mr. Swoboda. 3rd and 11, pass complete. Not enough for a first down. The intended receiver came up with the catch.
After a bit of fumbling on that catch as well.
Raider Clemens makes the catch. Gain of 7 on the play. 4th and 4. And the Gorillas are going to punt. Well, looks like they're going to punt. They sent a new formation out. Yes, they will. Jalen Zachary is back for UCM. I think in the second half, no Mule has to step up more than Jalen Zachary because, like I mentioned earlier, he was terrific in touchdowns and key plays last season. He has not seen as much this year. We have a flag on the play as the ball was jarred loose and picked up by a Gorilla. I don't know what the refs are going to call here.
I do believe I saw a bit of receiving interference
on Pittsburg State.
On Pittsburg State.
Number 45.
You're right.
15-yard penalty. The spot of the foul.
Because as Jalen Zachary went in for the catch, he was getting all caught up in between a Pittsburg State defender's legs. And he didn't even call a fair catch. He was in there to go in for the catch, but because his hands were all across the ground, he wasn't able to pick up on the ball, and that gives the Mules a perfect jump to this drive.
Gain of 15 yards from the spot of the foul. 1st and 10. Bulls a handoff to Wilkerson. Fights through a man. Splits a couple men. And down about the 39. I think that's a first down. Yes, it is. Wilkerson again. He has been UCM's most consistent rusher tonight. 1st and 10 again. Bulls another handoff to Wilkerson. Wilkerson spinning and is brought down at about the 42 and not happy.
Stopped by Pitt State's number 11, Darian Taylor.
Actually, just a gain of 1 on the play, 2nd and 9.
And as this game has been a big game of back and forth, as one team does one thing, the other team is sure to do the same in the next play drive.
It's as if anything you can do, I can do better.
That's what it's been like tonight.
2nd and 9, play clock, playing time on the play clock down to 16. Now Bulls hands it off, a fake handoff to Wilkerson. Ball is loose, incomplete pass.
Absolutely smothered on that tackle.
What a hit by Matt Maggie. There he is.
Pass broken up by Matt McGee of Pitt State.
6 feet, 192 pounds, shooter for Pitt State, as you saw on that graphic.
And it looks like they're going to rule that as an incomplete pass.
I would think so because it went off the hands of UCM's receiver. Timeout called by Pittsburg State. First charge of the half for the Gorillas. Here's the replay of it.
Now, and it looks like a very good pass right to the receiver,
right,
but bam, you get smothered. How's your sister knock the ball out of his hands?
How's your sister? That's one I haven't heard of before. We got a kick out of that. The intended receiver was Javante Siglar from Overland Park, Kansas.
I would like to point out on this timeout here how important this game is for UCM.
Do tell.
If UCM wins this game, it will be the 3rd straight win over the Gorillas, which will be first in team history. However, if UCM loses tonight, they'll have an 0-1 record, which will be the 4th time they've had an 0-1 record to start the season under Coach Jim Swoboda.
It's 4th time in Jim Swoboda's career at UCM.
That's right.
That has happened. And by the way, UCM has won the last 2 games against Pittsburg State. They have split their last 8, actually. UCM won the first 2, Pitt State won 4 in a row, and then UCM won the last 2. UCM with a comeback. Flag is down. Offside on Pittsburg State. Pass is incomplete, out of bounds. It's an offside on Pittsburg State. You can see it.
No, it looks like they're going to rule that as a complete pass.
Are they?
I believe I saw his feet.
Offside on Pittsburg State. I was right.
Defense. That feels decline. Results of the play is a first down.
Well, That was interesting. I thought that when that offside was first called, I thought they were going to stop and redo the play, but they're going to roll it a complete pass and a first down for Central Missouri, and they're in Gorillas territory.
Well, when he did pick up the ball, he was inside the line.
Yes.
But he was tackled out of bounds.
Pulls back to pass it about the mule head over the head of the intended receiver.
And we're starting to see the same passing that just happened in the first half. It's a lot of overthrows. And if Nick Bowles wants to, if he wants to get together with his receivers, he's going to have to make sure that his passes are accurate and on time. He's got to stop throwing way over the heads and try to look for these magnificent Hail Mary passes. It's all about connection, not how far you can throw.
He hands it off this time. Wilkerson up the middle, fights through a tackler. Oh my goodness, a somersault by Tyshawn Johnson, who tackled Wilkerson. It's not enough for a first down. It's 3rd and 1 from the Gorillas 32. Quickly, the play. Wilkerson is hammered, and Bowles actually had it, and Bowles is brought down a 4th down. Arian Taylor makes the play. It's a loss of 1, actually. It's 4th and 2, and the Mules are going to go for it. Will they hand it off to Wilkerson here? He has been their main go-to man so far. Bowles looks back. Play clock at 14. Bowles is going to pass. Has his man. And look out, Seth Hebert. He's going to the house. Touchdown, Mules, Seth Hebert. And the Mules, first touchdown since their opening drive. How big is that for Central Missouri?
This puts UCM back in business. And as soon as they get this extra point, look here on the replay, a wide open receiver easily adjusts himself to move away from the tackle. Touchdown City. He's able to get in there, score that extra 6, put the Mules back on the board.
I look at that replay. I just love the Armed Forces men just going up at Everett. And Lanker ties it at 16. Extra point is good. If you recall, he missed an extra point earlier in the night. He doesn't miss that one. Mules have tied it. Seth Hebert with the touchdown of 33 yards. Second touchdown of the night for Central Missouri.
And that is what crisp, clean passing looks like. This is what we know that Brooke Bowles can do, and this is what he's been needing to do all game. As soon as he irons out the way his passes have been going, once he connects to his receivers, he's able to get in there, and positive result, we're able to score some touchdowns.
And Bowles was passing under 50% for the entire game before that drive and before the half. Now, what do you think about Pittsburg State's move in trading John Roderick for Thomas LePage?
It could be a factor that maybe he was having some personal struggles within himself and they're trying to find some recomposure in the player. Maybe he had an injury that nobody really kind of took notice to. Maybe they just need to get some fresh legs out there to try to get some mentality. If you saw from the first half, there was a lot of rushing plays, and Pittsburg State didn't really have as much of an offensive drive in the beginning. So Pittsburg State might be trying a new tactic to get some fresh offensive mindset into these players to try to push forward and get the victory.
Well, if Roderick was playing with an injury, he didn't show it because he came in very, very stellar in terms of passing. He was 7 for 12, 8 for 13 in passing attempts and completion at the half. So that touchdown by Seth Hebert, his first of the year, second of the night for UCM. It ties it at 16. Here we go with Pittsburg State's second possession of the second half. They'll start at the 25, a touchback.
Pittsburg State.
That last drive by Central Missouri, 8 plays, 72 yards, and it took only 2 minutes and 3 seconds. But I think what was really deflating for the Gorillas about that drive is that you give up a 33-yard touchdown on 4th down.
And a lot of these teams, especially tonight, have been able to pull out and convert when they're on the tooth and nail of fourth down.
Right.
And it's been incredible to see that they're not giving up when it comes to fourth down. We haven't seen a whole lot of punting, but when it came to the fourth down conversion, both these teams have been right on it at 100%.
LePage fakes the handoff. Hail Mary throw. Did they get him? Yes. Wow, what a catch. Flag on the play, though. Austin Pinko. Great catch for the flag on the play. I think he got a, not sure what this is going to be.
Number 66, 5-yard penalty for previous spot. Repeat first down.
Repeat first down, so the penalty goes on Pittsburg State. Jesse Brookins Jr. picks up the flag. I don't think it was a false start because it happened just after the catch was made. But nonetheless, it is a loss of 5, 1st and 15 for the Gorillas. Again, Thomas LePage, number 10 in white, subbing in for John Roderick. Here's a handoff, and not much there.
Ball carrier, Kenyon Shurik for Pittsburg
Kenyon
State.
Shurik, the rusher.
Tannehill on the stop for the Mules.
Michael Tannehill with the tackle. I'd say what Tannehill has had a very decent game so far, whether it be tackles or pressuring the passer. He even had that block kick on the Pittsburg State extra point attempt in the first half. Here's another handoff. And again, it is Shurik short of the first down. I think it's going to be about a 3rd and 4. Yes, it is 3rd and 4 from the Gorillas 31.
Brings up 3rd and 4, Pittsburg State. Third down, Mules fans.
Triffiune Taylor, number 90 in Mizzou, is trying to get the crowd to say, get up on your feet for this 3rd down. LePage the handoff again. Team meeting. And that team meeting is brought down. First down, Pittsburg State. Needed 4, they got 4. Shurik again, the ball carrier. And Pittsburg State reaches their destination, first down from their 35-yard line.
Tannehill on the stop for the Mules.
LePage fakes the handoff, throw at about the 40.
Pass intended for number
Could have been
6,
a lot more, though.
Incomplete.
Or is actually incomplete. It looked like a catch from here. Good defense by Cody Bell, number 29 for UCM, who you see right there in the middle of your screen. Cody Bell, 5'10", freshman from Blue Springs, Missouri.
And that's a way of how freshmen show the upperclassmen that they can play some ball too.
Yes. LePage the handoff, and smothered right there.
Shurik, the ball
was
carrier
Shurik.
for Pittsburg State.
Tell you what, he has had 4 carries in the last 5 plays. You've seen him, you've seen his presence on the floor. You can make a case for him as the go-to guy here in this 3rd quarter so far. Once again, 3rd down and 9 from the 36-yard line. See if UCM can hold up on this 3rd down possession. Pittsburg State is 3 for 8 in 3rd downs. Sacked on a play. Ball is loose. Mules got it. What a defensive sequence by Central Missouri. We have a flag on the play. We have a flag on the play. I think it's going to be for excessive
Watch how the
celebration.
whole line just goes in, and they're greedy on this quarterback. They are showing him, welcome to this game. Eat a face full of turf.
First charge of the game.
That flag on the field, by the way, sideline warning for Central Missouri because they had a bunch of players run onto the field after that terrific sack and recovery. I'm not sure who came up with the sack for Central Missouri, but what I do know is that the loose ball was picked up by number 44, Connor Flangle. There he is right there. Number 44 in Mules red.
Nobody's going to see you pointing at a screen.
Yeah,
nobody can see
I
that.
was pointing at the screen from our vantage point, but I had to see what his number was in order for our audience to see who he was. So the Mules take over in Gorillas territory. Play clock is running down. They got to get a playoff. Down to 3, down to 2. Bulls gets it. Hand off to Wilkerson. He's annihilated.
And it's a big old game of monkey see, monkey do. You throw our player down, we'll take your player and throw him behind the line of scrimmage as well.
That's right.
Seema Thomas, the stop for Pitt
Seema
State.
Thomas.
Loss of 3.
A loss of 3 on the play. 2nd and 13. Bulls back to pass. Throws. Has his man. It's Parker. Parker looking for a seam. The Gorillas hold a team meeting around him, and look out. Whoa. I'm surprised Parker didn't fall flat on his stomach after that. It's not enough for a first down. It's going to be a 3rd down and 2. But that's what you were talking about. That's the kind of place that Brook Bowles needs to do in terms of passing. Not show any fancy moves, just find the receivers and make sure that the pass is not too high or too fast. Handoff again. Devontae Turner. That's a first down for Central Missouri. I think from what we've seen so far, Brook Bowles has definitely found his touch, and give a lot of credit to the Mules defense on that last possession. Here's Bowles again. Again finds his receiver. That time it's Jalen Zachary down at about the 12. 2nd and 1. 2nd and 2.
See, and when as Brook Bowles decides to actually calm down and play the game and quit trying to play like he's in, on 2K Sports, when he's able to calm down and play the game, he's able to go in there and make sure that everything is crisp, clean passing. And it's been proven well. He's been able to connect to his receivers, and he's been able to go in and make some yardage.
That pass was incomplete. It actually looked like it went off the back of Zachary. That's why I said, oh. Incomplete pass. 3rd and 2. Bulls looking to pass again. Zachary, almost got it. Flag is down. Zachary could have had his the 18th touchdown of his career. Flag on the field. I think it's going to go against Central Missouri.
Offside.
No, it's an offside on Pittsburg State. It's a first down. It's a 1st and goal for Central Missouri from the 7.
And to me, it looked like a little bit of pass interference as they tried to intercept the ball. I had no idea that they were actually calling it for an offside.
Well, I think if it's pass interference, if they're inside of 15 yards, I think they go to about the 2-yard line or somewhere like that. 1st and goal from the 7. Hand off, and Pittsburg State will have none of it. Devontae Turner, the ball carrier. Great defense that time by Pittsburg State to avoid any further yardage. It brings up 2nd and goal. No gain on the play. Tell you what, I think they're going to Turner again. Turner's in that spot right next to Brook Bowles, as if to say, give me the ball, I'm going to the house. Well, we'll see. Will he hand it off? Yes, he will. Turner's got it. Turner finding his way down at about the 2. 3rd and goal.
Devontae Turner, the ball carrier for the UCM.
As Turner made his presence felt tonight.
Bob and weave. He's going to try to sneak through that defensive line.
Bob and weave. Yep. 3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. This is a key stop for Pittsburg State if they can get it. Hand off to Wilkerson. Wilkerson's going to throw. Almost intercepted by the Gorillas.
No, not in my house. They will not take any of that.
Jonte Baldwin, number 4 for Pittsburg State, almost came up with the interception in the end zone.
Instead, he decided to swat down that ball like it was a fly.
Yeah, they're going with the field goal unit. This will be a 19-yarder. And this can put Central Missouri in front for the first time since the opening drive, if they can convert. Alex Langer hit a 39-yarder earlier. Can he hit a 19-yarder? Yes, he can. Mules lead. 2nd field goal of the day for UCM. And the Mules have taken a 19-16 lead. They've outscored the Mules 10-0. They've outscored the Gorillas, I should say, 10-0 in this third quarter as Langer has a chat with the head official. And Dan, the key reason that Central Missouri has outscored Pittsburg State by 10 in the third is because...
Well, they've been able to get in there, and they've been able to make the crisper passes. The crisp passes is what's going to get you yardage. All these fancy Hail Mary passes, they're not going to do anything but just make you look like a show-off. If you take the time to actually slow down and make sure that you have enough ways to...
We'll take it to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. You're watching Mules football on CTV.
Who says we can't know how a Civil War soldier felt, or what it's like to change the rules of the game? Ken Burns pioneered a new way to tell America's story. And only PBS gives filmmakers like him a place to push the boundaries of what TV can do. Give to this PBS station so stories like these are available now and for generations to come.
Welcome back to Mules football on CTV. The Mules lead MIAA division rival Pittsburg State 19-16 with just over 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. The Mules with a touchdown by Seth Hebert and a field goal by Alex Langer have taken a 10-0 lead in terms of scoring in this third quarter. And now it's Pittsburg State's turn to try to respond. Here's the kickoff.
And this keeps UCM 100% to win in the red zone.
How about that? Touchback for the Gorillas. They'll have it at the 25-yard line. On that last drive for Central Missouri, 9 plays off that fumble recovery. First turnover of the night for Pittsburg State, by the way, on that fumble recovery. It took 9 plays, only 28 yards for a Alex Langer field goal, and the time of the possession, 2 minutes and 55 seconds. When the Mules have scored tonight, they haven't taken a whole lot of time off the clock. Should that be a concern for UCM, Dan?
It shouldn't be. It's a way for UCM to take charge in that quick lightning offense that they were notorious for in the 2016 season. But if you want to take into consideration about how much taxing effort it's going to be on the defense for making them stay out on the field longer, they might want to consider slowing down, taking the effort to actually think about the plays that they're about to run offensively, and then take action and see where it takes them.
Dylan Alexander was the tackler that tackled Shernick on that last play. Again, 2 2nd and 8 from the Gorillas' 27-yard line, I should say. Throw right in the middle of the field. Great anticipation play. LePage pass complete to Lorenzo West. First down, Gorillas. And I said great anticipation because Lorenzo West read that play just as you draw it up. He ran a line right there. So take a look at Montez Lattimore's graphic. Quickly, Pittsburg State comes back. Another handoff again to Shernick. And 3 Mules drop him to his knees.
The ball carrier once again for Pitt State.
And Shyrick goes up about 4 yards on the play, 2nd and 6. LePage, fake handoff, and UCM says not on our watch. Stopped in the backfield. Terrific play by the Mules defense. Colson Crane again. There's Colson Crane right there. If you recall, earlier in this game, he had he made Pittsburg State lose yardage on a similar play, but it was more of a push rather than a sack. You can come, and that time you can officially call it a sack. But he has had 2 big plays that have made Pittsburg State lose yardage. Incomplete pass on 3rd and long. And the Gorillas are going to have to punt it away. Incomplete pass. 4th down. for the Gorillas. Jackson Newman made the stop. There's Newman right there.
Akers and Horak in punt formation.
So the Gorillas were set up in punt formation. Pittsburg State has lost the momentum that they've had in that first half when they scored a touchdown with with 1:01 remaining in the first half. It has been UCM most of the way ever since then. Oh, great play that time as Jalen Zachary made the catch.
Run down by Pitt State's number 4, Jonte Baldwin.
And Jonte Baldwin makes the tackle. Dan, I look at it this way. When you have a team that is boosting with confidence after scoring 10 points in a quarter like UCM has, I think the intention has to be, let's try and build on this lead, see how big we can get it before going into the final 15 minutes. What should UCM be focused on right here as they set up their offense?
Just trying to keep the possession in a natural flowing state. Don't try anything fancy, because how we saw in the first half, when they tried for something fancy, it always ended up failing as an incomplete pass. So if they keep the passes crisp, smooth, and as little yardage as possible, just to keep the ball in momentum, they're going to be able to get touchdowns and increase their lead.
Just like that, Brooke Bowles, great pass to Parker. Well, when I say just like that, I mean plays like that 25-yard catch and run by Parker. Those are things that can set up scoring possessions.
And right now they're in a great position. They have plenty of room to work with, and they can keep going. As we can see, it looks like he's about to give it to the handoff, but that crisp, clean bullet pass to number 8 there just gives it what they want.
Number 8 is Parker, by the way. 1st and 10 for the 45. Bowles looking. Deep throw, almost picked off by the Gorillas again. Would have been the 3rd interception given up by Bowles tonight if that had gone to the hands of the Pittsburg State defender. Kobe Wilkerson, the intended receiver, brings up 2nd and 10 for the boys in red. .205 remaining, 3rd quarter. Bowles the handoff, and a gain of about 3. Wilkerson again.
Wilkerson, the ball carrier for the Mules.
Was the ball carrier. 3rd and 7 from the Mules 48.
3rd down Mules, 3rd down and 7.
Plenty of time on the play clock. Bowles claps, waits for the snap. Yeah, stop it to play real quick. Bowles looks back to the sideline. Here's the snap. 3rd and 7. Bowles looking. Incomplete pass. So the Gorillas with a key stop right there. UCM's lead stays at 3. Here comes the punt formation. Darian Taylor makes the key play on that 3rd and 7 stop.
And it looked like he was about to catch the ball with his fingertips, but because he was not able to actually get full recovery of the ball, he ends up dropping it. Incomplete pass.
I think also the hit from Taylor played a big factor in that. Here is the punt. The Gorillas have it. Fumbled at about the 10. Looking for room. He's got it at the 20, 25, and here comes Pittsburg State. And he's going to go down at about the 37. 27-yard run. We have a flag on the play.
Penalty flag on the field.
And that was a pretty good job of actually reading his route to go through and make up all of that yardage. He was able to connect with some of his own defenders to block off some key Mule tacklers, which would have stopped this play early in its tracks.
Penalty on the field against Pittsburg State. Holding. Austin Painco, by the way, was the return man for Pittsburg State. I was so caught up with that run that I forgot to say Painco's name.
Painco has certainly been a big key factor for the Pittsburgh offense.
Absolutely.
He's been rushing the ball like almost the entire game, and he's been picking up yardage like it's candy from a baby. It is incredible.
Well, one thing is for sure, he has been one of the main go-to guys for Tim Beck and his Pittsburg State Gorillas. By the way, that holding foul is actually going to bring Pittsburg State all the way back to the 4-yard line.
Which that will certainly kill the momentum from a huge drive like that, to where Pittsburg State now has to make up for yardage it should already have. But with bonehead plays like holding, it erases all of that good effort.
Just over a minute remaining in the third. Number 57 for the Gorillas, Jacob Carpenter, picked up the flag on that hold. So 1st and 10, Pitt State from the 4-yard line. LePage a handoff, and no gain on the play. Good defense by the Mules again.
And that was a pretty dangerous handoff because they not only didn't get anywhere on the play, but they may have also scooted themselves back closer to the end zone. So the Mules can definitely take chance of this and work their way in to score a safety.
2nd and 10. Once again from the 4-yard line. 40 seconds remaining in quarter number 3. Handoff again. And a gain of only about 2.
Correct, the ball carrier once again for Pittsburg State.
As they go back to the rushing game again.
Gain of 4 yards, 3rd down.
Gain of 4 yards on the play, 3rd and 6. And I think this may be the last play of the 3rd quarter, unless they decide to run the clock out.
And I believe they're going to make the clock run out here.
Yeah, I think so too. So that is going to end the 3rd quarter between UCM and Pitt State. The Mules outscore Pittsburgh 10-0 in the 3rd, and they lead by 3 with 15 minutes remaining. We'll be right back with the 4th quarter. Mules 19, Gorillas 16. You're listening to Mules football on CTV.
From court to court and lane to lane, under the lights or under the sun, no one delivers Division II sports like NCAA.com. The center of D2 is inside the NCAA.com hub, with exclusive highlights of every sport and live broadcasts of every Division II championship found nowhere else. Make NCAA.com yours, the home of Division II college sports.
Don't want to miss out on any of the live UCM athletics action? You can watch it all through Blue Frame Technologies, thanks to the MIAA Network and CTV Central Television. 2 ways to gain access. You can either go to UCMathletics.com, click on the Multimedia tab and select Live Video, or you can hover over your desired game, select the live video icon, and you're in. Either way will direct you to the University of Central Missouri page on the MIAA Network. Already purchased an account? Great! Just log in and select your game. If you don't have an account, simply click the Purchase Access button, create your account, and then select your viewing plan. It's that easy. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up, log in, and start cheering on your University of Central Missouri Mules and Jennies.
Welcome back to Mules football on Central Television. The Mules in this opening night matchup between themselves and the Pittsburg State Gorillas. They lead 19-16 as we go to the 4th quarter. Pittsburg State 3rd and 6 from the 8-yard line. Dan, keys for the 4th quarter in your mind would be what?
Pittsburgh really needs to figure out how they're going to figure themselves out offensively. If they can get themselves in a perfect offensive position to make up for all of this yardage that they've been wasting away these first 2 downs and start pushing themselves down the field, they're going to be able to keep Mules in check and keep this game at a relatively close score.
Pittsburg State so far 50 plays for 237 yards. See if they can add to that. 3rd and 6 from the 8. Thomas LePage back to pass. LePage looking. Has to run away from the defender. Long throw. Is he in bounds? No, he's not. He's out of bounds. It's 4th down.
And it looked like he was really trying to keep his tiptoes in bounds there.
Look at this again. You'll see it clearly.
He starts to panic as the defenders come in for the safety, but as he goes for the catch, he's already out of bounds by the time he's got possession of the ball.
Well, that, and he has to keep both feet in bounds in order for it to be a complete pass. It looked like he had maybe the tiptoe of the right foot down, but I didn't see the left foot down.
But almost only counts in horseshoes.
Yes. Well, I'm not that great at horseshoes, but I do know what you mean. So Pittsburg State has to punt. Oh, almost a block punt. It's a short one, and it's going to be in Gorillas territory. Fumble. Look out. Who's got it? Mules do. Jalen Zachary held on. I tell you what, this has not been the prettiest game in terms of fumbles on kickoffs, but Zachary came up with a big recovery right there.
He did. It's enough to keep the Mules' momentum going, to try to keep this lead on the board. As long as they can make sure to keep up the game of crisp passing, they can definitely put a beating on the Pittsburg State defense.
Believe it or not, so far in this game, UCM, we mentioned that Pittsburg State had 237 yards total. UCM has 364 on 60 plays. I think that third quarter was a big turner in that category. Bowles passing complete to Zachary. Down to about the 24.
And that's the crisp passing I've been talking about. If you can keep it low and clean just like that, you're able to make huge plays just like Jalen Zachary did.
And there's that Zachary Bowles connection that we have not seen a whole lot tonight, but key yardage right there. Jalen Zachary not playing the best football of his collegiate career, but he's made key plays here and there. 1st and 10 for the 24. Bowles looking, has his man. Gain of about, still going. That was Javante Sigler. Gain to the 13-yard line. That's a first down.
And it's plays like these. Slow and steady wins the race. You don't have to go for huge plays all the time. You can go for the little ones because the little ones will always make the difference.
And complete pass right there to Zachary.
Pass roll incomplete, brings up 2nd down Mules.
So the Mules will set up their next offensive play. Second and 10 from the 13-yard line. Bowles gets the snap, almost fumbled it for a moment. Pass is, I think it's complete, is it? Yes, it is. Seth Hebert, who had the game-tying touchdown in the third quarter, comes up for the play.
And it looked like it was almost ripped out of his hands. And actually, the pass would have connected with the Pittsburg State defender. That would have been the third interception tonight by Bowles.
Seth Hebert, 6'4", 225 pounds, as we just saw with that graphic. By the way, I made a mistake earlier. I pronounced his name Hebert instead of Haber. Sorry about that, folks. 3rd and 3 from the 6-yard line. They get a first down here. They're in the red zone. Bowles will take it himself. First down. First down UCM. First and goal. We have a flag on the play.
Now this puts UCM at a tight spot. If everything works for them.
5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. 3rd down.
Illegal formation on Central Missouri, so it'll be 3rd and 8.
Well, this puts them in a bigger tight spot now. Before, it would have been 4th and 2. Now, it's about 3 and 7. With this, UCM might crash their perfect red zone record tonight of 3 and 3.
Perhaps. We'll wait to see if you're right on the nose, partner. 3rd and 8 from the 11-yard line. Timeout, Central Missouri. As it appeared as though Brooke Bowles did not like the spot the Mules were in. So UCM's going to burn a timeout here. They still have 2 left, and so does Pittsburg State. If you're Brooke Bowles right here, Dan, what are you thinking? Do you go to Jalen Zachary, try to get him going, or do you rush the ball yourself, or what do you think the Mules should do?
I think they should try to play this safe. It is 3rd down, and anything can happen on 3rd down. They haven't been able to connect 3rd down-wise, going only 5 for 12. So if they figure out how to connect themselves on 3rd down, then they can keep that perfect streak alive of going 4 for 4 inside the red zone. So yes, he can pass it to Jalen Zachary, But if I was Pittsburg State and I knew how talented Jalen Zachary was, I would be covering him and making sure that he's not there to receive a pass.
We'll wait to see what Central Missouri does. If we take a look at the statistics through third quarter, I want you to take a look at the possession time, because Pittsburg State had more possession time in the first half. But if we take a look here, the possession time, Pittsburg State has had the football only 34 more seconds than the Mules have had. Big turnaround right there. 3rd and 8 from the 11-yard line. Play clock at 5. Bowles has to get it off. They do. Looked like Bowles dropped it. He's going to the corner of the end zone. Intended for Zachary, and Pittsburg State broke it up.
And if you take a look at that time of possession statistic that you mentioned, this is why it's been such a close game. Because the time of possession has been so similar, the scores are also going to be so similar. It just so happens that UCM has had the drive to push their time of possession. Even though they've only had it a shorter time, they've been able to make it more effective for them, and they've been out on top by 3 into the second half here.
This is a 28-yard field goal for Alex Langer. Put it on the board. Field goal, UCM. The lead is 6 at 22-16. Lanker's 3rd field goal of the night. I think if you're Pittsburg State, you're unhappy that you gave up points, but what you are happy about is that it's still a one-possession game.
It is, and anything can happen. The way that we've been seeing the dominance in Pittsburg State offense, they're not afraid to get their hands dirty and push the ball up the field. So if you're UCM's defensive line, you have to watch out for the amount of rush plays that the Pittsburg State offense will run. Pittsburg State is not afraid to smash through the UCM defensive line. They're also not afraid to get a tackle in there to keep the rusher going down the field. They're also not afraid to make sure that their passing has also been crisp. So if they figure out a way to get that ball moving up down the field, UCM defense might have their work cut out for them.
And speaking of crisp passes, we've seen Thomas LePage step up, and I think overall he's done a pretty decent job, but the Mules defense has had an answer for them throughout most of the second half.
And especially when you look at the game as a whole itself, they've had 3 sacks on the night. So this definitely shows that they have the understanding to know that if a pass is coming, they will have the line in there to come in and smash down on the quarterback.
Yeah, and also speaking of crisp passes, Brooke Bowles, I think, has had a better second half.
He has. He's figured out that this is a college game and not an NFL game. So he's been taking the time to figure out that his passes need to be more humanly possible than celebrity possible.
That last drive for Central Missouri set up that 28-yard field goal by Langer. 6 plays, 34 yards, exactly 2 minutes even on that possession. Pittsburg State will now have it caught at about the 4. Here comes West down the sideline at about the 24 is where he's pushed out of bounds. 1st and 10, Gorillas.
And with that field goal, the UCM goes back to a 4-for-4 on scoring chances in the red zone. Both teams have been perfect, with Pittsburg State going 3-for-3 and now UCM going 4-for-4.
Do you think this has been bad defense by both teams on red zone defense?
It has. There should be no reason as to why these stats should be less than they are now. There's no excuse as to why these shouldn't be 100%. They need to figure out a way to cancel the ball from getting either in between the uprights or on the touchdown surface. Something needs to be figured out between the two teams to make sure that that ball has not been scoring any points.
LePage, the handoff. It's a lateral. I think it's a first down. It is, and a little bit more. Austin Painko. That's the first lateral we've seen tonight. That is a gain of
at least the first lateral by Pittsburg State. UCM has run their fair amount of laterals in the first half, and it's also been an effective play for them because it's caught the Pittsburg State defense a little bit off guard when the lateral has been thrown. but nevertheless, it's been a perfect answer for the Pittsburg State dominance in the first half.
That was a gain of 15 yards on the play. Pass complete on that throw by LePage, but terrific defense by Montez Lattimore.
Crisp pass, crisp connection, crisp tackle. Just extra crispy.
That was a gain of 6 on the play, just like I like my chicken nuggets extra crispy.
Yes, sir.
Second and 4, but that could have been a gain of more than 6 yards.
There could have.
If Lattimore was not there. Fake handoff instead of throw. Oh, incomplete. And it's Lattimore again, who was right there, as he had a big night defensively.
And he has. He's had a total of 5 tackles before this offensive run here by Pittsburg State. So I think he's had his fair share of making sure the ball is not going anywhere.
And I think he's been the most effective defender out there. We've seen his graphic pop up 3 times tonight. He's been that key. Crowd into it here. 3rd and 4. LePage back to pass. He's got his man. First down. Gorillas and more.
Pass completed to Brenner Clemens.
Brenner Clemens takes up the first down for Pittsburg State. In the UCM territory at the Mules 45.
And like I mentioned with the fact that it's been a monkey see, monkey do game, when you look at both the teams effectively, the quarterbacks can make the crisp passes. So each quarterback is matched up. But then when you look at it in terms of a star running back or a star receiver, the Mules have Jalen Zachary, while Pittsburg State has Penko.
What a pass by LePage. Javon Wilson picks up another first down, a gain of 16. And suddenly, the Gorillas feel they're right back in this. Key possession for both teams. LePage to throw again, finds the seam this time. Looks like he stumbled a little bit and tripped over his own feet. It's a gain of about, it looks to be about 5 yards.
Brings up second down, Pitt State.
Only 2, I should say. Second and 8. Or second and 6, actually. Gain of 4.
I think you're passing out free yards here where they don't need to be going.
Or it actually is second and 8. My apologies. Page pass. Nice defense again by UCM to prevent further yardage. Mark Cushing with the tackle. Once again, it's a loss of 2 on the play. And the 6-foot senior brings up a 3rd and 11 for Pittsburg State. Incomplete pass. UCM holds them off. And if Pittsburg State's going to go for a field goal, it's going to be a 46-yard field goal if they go for it.
And that's the kind of stuff that you actually do see in the NFL.
You do, yeah.
And if you ever remember the good old St. Louis and Greg Zuerlein, he was famous for making long field goals like these. I don't know if he's still doing that down in LA or not, but
how sweet is it watching his game?
Excellent. Very excellent.
Yeah, I bet.
And it looks like they're going to attempt it.
Did Pittsburg State call a timeout?
Timeout. Pittsburg State.
Yes, they did. Timeout, Pittsburg State. I heard a whistle before the field goal attempt. I wondered if they would call a timeout, and they did. But I think that's a little risky for the Gorillas. They only have 1 timeout left, while UCM has 2.
They do, and they still have a little over half of the 4th quarter to play here.
Yeah.
But when you're down 4th and 11, and you're also down by a touchdown, you kind of need to build up something into the mindset of your players to figure out how can we get back into this and keep it a tie ball game.
Because every possession is vital when it's a 1-possession game.
That's right.
with that incomplete pass on 3rd and 11, Pittsburg State is now 4 for 13 on 3rd down, while Central Missouri on 3rd down is 5 of 13.
Yeah, 13.
Look at the Mules are saying, come on, crowd, get into this.
Because they understand that it's still go time. If they're in the lead, and this is the first time they've been in the lead all game, I'd get a little hyped myself.
I think so too, especially when you have a crowd of this many people here to support your team on opening night. Pittsburg State has a very good turnout for a crowd themselves. They're going to go for it on 4th and 11. LePage back to pass. He's in trouble. Has to go away. He's got a looking. Incomplete. Mules have it.
And this just looked like a failed attempt from the beginning.
What makes you say that?
Well, when you look at how the quarterback was starting to rush into, slamming into the defensive line, then he thinks about it. So if you look, he's about to start to run into the defensive line here, but he fakes him out and tries to run wide. He already knows he's in trouble. He already knows he's about to get tackled, so he's just basically throwing the ball away because he knew this was a failed attempt from the start.
And we actually had a flag on the field, another sideline warning for Central Missouri.
I think they're getting a little too happy here just because they're able to make these plays. I understand it's a rivalry game. I understand that key plays like this is what's going to bring people back into this game, getting involved, but you can't make dumb mistakes,
right?
Because they will affect you, and they're not going to affect you in a good way.
That sideline warning, by the way, that's a second for UCM this game. That counts as a 5-yard penalty, but they did stop out 4th down, so Central Missouri will have the ball. They'll bring it back 5 yards, so UCM has it on their own 25-yard line. 9 minutes, 10 seconds to go in this opener. And look out there. Good defense by the Gorillas.
The ball carrier for the Mules, stopped by Darian Taylor of Pitt State.
Darian Taylor, number 96 in white, makes the tackle.
And he read that rush play like it was pages from a textbook. He saw that they were going up in through the line, and he met him there and told the UCM Mule to eat some turf.
Bowles passes, that is complete.
Bowles pass completed to Justice McMullen.
Justice McMullen makes the catch.
Down at the 30-yard line.
Down at the 30-yard line. 3rd and 5.
Back at Pitt State, brings up 3rd and 5 Mules.
And if they nail this one, they will have gone 6 for 15, which is a little over 33% on converting on 3rd down.
Right.
Which is not the greatest statistic that you want to live by in this game.
Bowles trying to get out of a jam here. Runs to the outside, looking for a 1st down. He's got it. Holy cow, this he opened up to the right side of the field. And UCM has a 1st down. If you have a 1-possession lead and you have the ball, is it more important to try and get another score or more important to try and run the clock out?
It's very important to try to run the clock out, especially when it's such a close game like this. It's always going to help you out if you're going in there and getting more points, but the faster you can run down the clock, the more time the opposing team has to panic and try to pick up some easy points to make sure that they're still a viable threat to this game.
Well, Bowles tries to run out the clock right there with a rushing play. Clock still going. Gain of 8 on the play. 2nd and 2. From the UCM 46. False start is called flag.
False start. 71 offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Kane Barker on the penalty. Number 71 in Mules red. 2nd and 7. They'll bring the ball back to the 41-yard line of Central Missouri. Play clock down to 3. Bulls has to hurry.
And they'll get him for delay of game, it looks like.
Yes, they will. Delay of game.
Offense. 5 yards. Second down.
Still second down, but now they're back to the 36. 2 straight penalties at 2nd and 12.
And I realize we did say something about trying to run the play clock down.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody meant it to do it just like this. This is kind of begging for some kind of trouble, because if you can't capitalize anything on this, you're basically just pushing Pittsburg State closer to scoring and making this a tie ball game.
And possibly taking the lead with an extra point. 6:30 to go, 2nd and 12. Bulls looking, incomplete pass to Wilkerson.
Bulls pass incomplete, intended for Kobe Wilkerson.
3rd and 12. And this is where the Gorillas want to be right now. 3rd and long for UCM. And that incomplete pass, the clock has stopped at 6:25.
So there's no point in trying to rush the play clock down now.
No.
Because once the clock is stopped, you got to figure something out. And it would appear they might be taking a timeout. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Well, I don't think they are. Now they're going to go for it here. 3rd and 12 for UCM. Bulls looking to pass. Look out, he's in trouble. Almost sacked. Has to throw it away. Pittsburg State holds them off.
Very good evade of the sack there. If Pittsburg State would have nailed that sack, that would have been a huge momentum change for Pittsburg State, because that would have made it 4th and extra long for UCM. And one bad punt could definitely lead Pittsburg State into a tie ball game here.
Mules have to punt it away, and Pittsburg State's right back in this ball game. But a key thing to point out here, Pittsburg State has only 1 timeout left. Here's the punt. It's a good one.
Oh, he's got room to breathe on this one.
Down about the 42. Flag on the play.
On the return for Pitt State.
Austin Painco again.
The Mules out of bounds.
Flag on the play. I think it's on Central Missouri.
Penalty flag down.
We'll wait to see.
During the return, block in the back. Number 28 receiving team.
No, it's
the foul. First down.
No, it's on Pittsburg State. Block in the back.
And it's bonehead plays like these that have been erasing the team's good fortune all game. Something has to be figured out. Something has to be ironed out between these teams to make sure that when they capitalize on good efforts, they can't be wasted away by bonehead plays like block in the back, holding, or just something dumb along that matter. Something needs to be taken care of to prove that good effort can be made based upon a good rush play or an excellent pass.
So Pittsburg State has it. 1st and 10 from their 19-yard line. 6:07 to play in regulation. LePage to pass. Has a wide open man. And gain of 9.
Pass completed to Tucker Horick.
Tucker Horick makes the catch.
By the Mules, Joshua Terry and Stephen Ford.
Actually, a gain of 8. 2nd down and 2 from the 27. LePage, handoff. 1st down, Gorillas. Horick again.
Alex Lackey on the stop for Central Missouri. 1st down, Gorillas.
Clock is still going. We're down to 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining.
And if I was Pittsburg State, I would be quick out of the huddle and into a formation, because I know how precious these 5 minutes are to scoring.
LePage, complete pass again, another 1st down.
LePage pass completed to Brenner Clemens.
Brenner Clemens.
And on the stop for the Mules, Joshua Terry. 1st down.
And Pittsburg State, 2 quick 1st downs, and they're at the 45-yard line. in just 3 plays.
And this is the momentum that Pittsburg State is looking for. This is the factor that they need to get them back into this ball game.
LePage. Deep throw off the hands of the intended receiver.
Page pass intended for Lorenzo West.
Lorenzo West was the intended receiver. If he would have caught that, the Gorilla fans would have erupted.
They would have, and that would have put UCM in a very dangerous position because like both teams have been explosive in the red zone. And that would have put Pittsburg State at a chance to go 4 for 4 inside the red zone and capitalize on it, creating possibly a tie ball game.
LePage back again. Hail Mary. That's caught. Oh, what a tackle. Dylan Alexander again. Number 5 for UCM. He's put a stamp on the Mules defense tonight. At midfield, 3rd and 6 for PSU. There's Dylan Alexander right there. Key play for both teams. 3rd and 6 at midfield. LePage looking. Incomplete.
Pass intended for Brenner Clemens.
Intended for Brenner Clemens. It's going to bring a 4th down.
4th down, Gorillas.
I think Pittsburg State may have to go for it because you don't want to burn your final timeout with 3:58 remaining.
That is true. And on 4th down conversions, both teams have also been perfect. Pittsburg State has been 1 for 1 on 4th down conversions.
And they're going for it. Crowd on its feet. Intercepted! What a play by Central Missouri.
Absolutely unbelievable. It looked like a very good pass. And from this replay here, a very good pass, but it got tipped and tipped just enough to get intercepted.
Guess who it was? It was Lattimore again.
Lattimore has definitely been a key factor for the Mules defense, not only with tackles, but this is a huge interception that has changed the momentum of these final minutes in the 4th quarter.
Actually, I got that wrong. That was actually an incomplete pass. So my apologies on that, but it is still Mules' ball. At first glance, it looked like an incomplete pass. I mean, you could have made a case for it either way.
Yes.
Mules have to hold on to it. 3:54 remaining. Handoff, and look at this. He's going to go to the house. It looks like touchdown UCM. Devontae Turner. How about that?
Putting the nail on the coffin. This game, UCM has some breathing room right now.
They do. Look at this again.
He takes it, looks right for an open spot in the pocket. He's got room to breathe. It is open range territory. Touchdown city, UCM. Slap some 6 points on that board.
50-yard touchdown. Turner's first of the year, and it comes at a key moment. UCM by 12. Chance to make it 13. Alex Slanger's going to line up for the extra point, but what a momentum Turner for UCM. And a flag again. Sideline warning on Central Missouri again, their 3rd of the night.
Something has to be done down there on those benches. They need to tell them to calm down.
I've never seen a game where a team has had 3 sideline warnings against them. This is going to make the extra point attempt a little longer. It's going to be a 32 yards. Langer's extra point.
Oh, just kisses the uprights.
No good.
Blocked by Pittsburg State.
I think it was deflected when I first saw that. So the extra point is off the mark, but a key touchdown by Turner. Mules are up by 12 with 3:44 to go.
It didn't look that strong coming off the ground, so it may have been a bad setup on the snap, but I do believe you're right when you say it was possibly tipped. But when it comes up to a key thing like that, You missed the extra point. You missed a way to further that lead. But this puts UCM in an excellent position because they have room to breathe. And even if they do make one subtle mistake, they still have enough room to breathe to where one touchdown against them is not going to affect them that much.
Well, you still don't want to play complacently because there's still time left. And it is a two-possession game, but I've seen games, whether it's collegiate football or NFL football, where a team is down by one or more possessions with a limited amount of time left, like about under 5 minutes, so to speak, and the game turns around, and the come-from-behind team comebacks and actually steals the game.
And I believe that happened in the Super Bowl, actually, in February.
Yeah. But that did happen in the Super Bowl. It's been such a long time since football season. I was back in February. So much has happened between February and August 31st.
So I believe some of the mistakes that have been made by the players is just a bunch of off-season rust that they're shaking off. And because this is the first game of the season, we have to understand that, you know, the players aren't really in it. But once they finish this game and the season hits into its regular spot, everybody's going to be a much cleaner game and everybody's going to make some smart plays.
After tonight's game, Central Missouri goes on the road to play Fort Hays State on September 7th. That's a Thursday. And on the same day, Pittsburg State has their first home game of the year against Central Oklahoma. Oh, good run right there at the 40. Carter Inkers was the kickoff returner up to about the 40-yard line. The Mules will bring out the defense again.
And it was a little risky going with a shallow kick. If they would have popped it into the end zone and they would have gotten the touchback, I think the Mules would have been a little bit safer. But this gives Pittsburg State an opportunity to actually gain some yardage and put some momentum back into their step to try to get some more points on the board.
Well, if they did, well, that would be very nice for Pittsburg State. But but with only one timeout remaining, not only do you have to use it wisely, but you have to get as many yards as you can in a short amount of time. Pittsburg State is capable of doing it, but their backs are against the wall right now. LePage sacked. What a huge play by Central Missouri.
Brought down by the Mules,
Colton Crane. He's had 2 sacks tonight. Well, I don't know if they counted it 3 sacks with the first one that he had when he pushed Roderick down, but a key play right there and an incomplete pass on 2nd and 17. Quickly, 3rd down.
Incomplete.
And this is what Pittsburg State is known for. They're known for throwing games away at the very end. And we're looking at that right now. This is key evidence of how they've taken a game that was completely in their control and thrown it away and given it to UCM.
UCM has outscored them 19-0 in the second half. LePage on 3rd and long, back to pass, long throw, has his man. I think that's a first down.
Pass completed to Slade Nordic.
Yes, it is. Slade Nordic makes the grab. It's a gain of 17. It's a first down.
First down, Gorillas in midfield.
With 3:05 remaining. And keep in mind, Pittsburg State has only one timeout left. They got to go. LePage over the head of the intended receiver. Out of play.
LePage pass.
But that stops the play clock at stops the game clock at 2:58. LePage back, throws again, finds a man, first down, Gorillas.
Pass completed to Clemens.
Pass completed to Clemens. Gorillas looking to go. He only wastes 10 seconds between plays. LePage, oh, he's running. Gain of 9.
I got here that last touchdown run was only 10 seconds, but it was a 50-yard run by Devontae Turner.
By far the shortest drive of the evening.
But effective enough in its own self.
Yes. LePage look at 2nd and 1. Tipped incomplete.
Pass intended for number 8, Lorenzo West.
Lorenzo West could have had Pittsburg State in the red zone, but a key stop for Central Missouri.
Brings up 3rd down and 1 for
Making the stoppage, it was Darian Rhodes. Or Dayron Rhodes, I should say. Number 23 in Mules red. 2:23 remaining, 3rd and 1, Pittsburg State. Hand off, 1st down and more.
Horick, the ball carrier for Pittsburg
for
State.
For Horick.
Alex Lackey and Jackson Newman in on the play. Brings up 1st down for Pitt State.
1st down, Gorillas again. Game clock is running. Almost to the 2-minute warning. LePage again overthrows his man. With 2:01 remaining.
Number 17, Austin Panko, incomplete.
Austin Panko, the intended receiver.
2nd down, Pitt State.
And even though Panko has been a huge aspect to the offensive portion of Pittsburg State, it looked like he caught him sleeping on that throw.
Panko 53 yards receiving today. 2:01 remaining, 2nd and 10. LePage back to pass again. In trouble, has to run with it. Can't pass it, so he has to run out of bounds.
Thomas LePage, the ball carrier for Pittsburg State.
He'll bring up 3rd down.
Around the 20.
I think it's a gain of about 4 yards on the play. We'll bring up 3rd down. It'll be 3rd and about 6. 3rd and 5, I should say. LePage again to pass. He's pressured. Is he sacked? Yes, he is!
Thomas LePage, sacked in the backfield.
Sacked in the backfield, LePage.
In the play for the Mules,
Uban Udom with the sack. It is 4th and 13. And timeout Pittsburg State, their last one of the game.
Very huge sack for this game. That sack may have taken the life out of all Pittsburg State offense had left. This looks like end game right here.
Perhaps.
I know there's a minute and some change left on the board, but with a huge sack like that, taking your team about almost 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, that is going to be something that Pittsburg State needs to figure out how to recover from.
And I think it was a little bit of a factor too, because as Udom has been pretty quiet throughout the night. He comes up out of nowhere, pressures LePage, and it's probably the biggest sack of the night.
It is. And with a huge sack like this, you have a hyped up defense. You have a hyped up Mules offense because of how well the defense is working. You also have a hyped up Mule crowd, which also benefits both the Mules offense and defense because they're feeding off the energy from the crowd. So if I was Pittsburg State, kind of looks like game over for those guys.
I think the Gorillas have no other option. They have to go for it on 4th down.
They do. It's pointless to get a field goal here because that just puts the ball back into UCM's court. And with that, UCM can run the clock down.
It would be a 46-yard field goal if they went for it. But they have to go for it here. 4th and long, LePage in trouble. Almost sacked again. Has to throw to the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown.
Very impressive touchdown.
Are you kidding me?
Looking in trouble from that, and they would have pushed the ball behind the line of scrimmage about another 10 yards behind that if they would have sacked him. But somehow he evades the sack, pushes himself back up to the line of scrimmage, and it's enough to be effective. You can watch how there's so much pressure from the Mules defense, but he easily evades them, quickly goes in, snatches the 6 points off the board off a diving catch.
That is an amazing grab touchdown for Pittsburg State. Extra point is good. It's a one-possession game.
And with a touchdown like this, it puts a little bit more life back into the lungs of Pittsburg State. Now they're only a touchdown behind, and as we've seen earlier today, the Pittsburg State defense has been excellent at getting interceptions and forcing turnovers. So if they're able to keep up what they've been doing in the beginning of the game, they can put this back into their favor.
I tell you what, that was a huge catch to keep this game alive for the Gorillas.
And that would put them at 2 for 4 on fourth down conversions.
If I'm right, that was Devontae Brown who made that catch. Took me a while to it took me a while
figure out what the
to pick it up, because Pittsburg State has had so many of their offensive players step up tonight. Brenner Clemens was actually the one who had that touchdown. 29 yards from Thomas LePage. 12 plays, 61 yards in 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
The problem I see with that is because that play took 2 minutes and 17 seconds. That's a lot of time that was eaten up off the clock. If Pittsburg State wants to get back into this game, they have to make quicker drives to the end zone.
Timeout, Central Missouri. Their second of the half. If you're UCM, you know Pittsburg State is going to go for the short kick right here and try and get the ball back. If you're UCM, how do you prep for a kick like that?
You just try to make sure that you shuffle every detail that you can towards the ball, getting it into your possession. Yes, you're on the receiving side of the kick, but however, Pittsburg State is leaning towards an onside kick. Now, if I was UCM, I'd try to push every effort I can into making sure that there's no possible way that Pittsburg State can even look at this football for another time in this fourth quarter. They need to make sure that their offense can take care of the ball for the rest of this game. Yes, there's a minute and some change. Yes, anything can happen, but something that cannot happen is turnovers and sloppy passing like we've been seeing the entirety of this game.
.123 remaining. Pittsburg State is still alive in this ball game. This is a short onside kick. Possession absolutely vital right now. Caught by UCM and a knee. Seth Hebert. Pittsburg State had to have that ball and they didn't get it. Seth Hebert, who has had a touchdown tonight and has been a key factor on offensive drives tonight, makes a big catch right there.
And now the ball is in UCM's court. They have the ability to take this game away right then and there.
And
they still have a timeout, and they still have the ability to run the clock as much as they can. It's not going to be a factor of can they push the ball up the field. It's going to be let's run down the clock and try to seal this for the win.
And they're going to kneel. I'm sorry for almost interrupting you right there.
You're good.
I was going to mention that Pittsburg State is out of timeouts. And it looks like they are going to nail this.
They are sealing the fate, putting the nail on the coffin.
And it's it'll be the first time, as you mentioned, it'll be the first time in school history that Central Missouri will beat Pittsburg State 3 games in a row.
It is, and it will improve the overall record of UCM to 11-42.
And 2 against this Pittsburg State team. And we mentioned earlier, Pittsburg State has won most of those games because for a long time they were one of the top teams in the country. A game effort by Pittsburg State to try and make a late comeback. But the Mules are going to win this one. 28-23 will be the final score in a game that could have gone either way. It was back and forth for a majority of the night. Pittsburg State took the lead into the half, and UCM once again, like last year, made a big key comeback. They outscored Pittsburg State 20-0 in the third, held on to win on the late game touchdown, and they outscored PSU this year 19-0 in the second half. The crowd waits for the final buzzer to sound, and there it is. Central Missouri wins their season opener 28-23 over their rivals from Pittsburg, Kansas. Dan, when you look back at this game, give us your final thoughts at what was the key turning point for the Mules to get this win.
The fact of it is the fact that there was a lot more crisp passing in the second half. The quarterback was able to settle down his mindset and actually figure out that we have a game to play. I can't be doing anything fancy. It's time to get the ball moving and get it done in a manner that only I know how to do. And that was establishing the crisp passing. It was also the matter of the run game. There was a lot of running in this game, despite the fact that both quarterbacks on both teams are equally effective at getting the ball moving in the air. They're very good at establishing a passing distance, but the running game was very key. And as we look at some of the stats that we have here, if we look at the rushing yards, Pittsburg State had 129 rushing yards. UCM had 248 rushing yards.
Wow.
So we see how that a majority of the game was conceived by the amount of rushes. And yes, there were some good opportunities, and yes, there were some terrible ones. If we look at the terrible ones, it was because of bonehead plays that were on both teams making terrible efforts, and their good habits have been erased. But overall, both teams calmed down, figured out what they needed to do, and they started driving more offensively to get this score of 28-23.
And tonight, the Mules come up on the winning side. Again, our final score, Mules 28, Gorillas 23. The next home game the Mules have will be September 16th against Missouri Western. Their next regular season game will be September 7th against their old rivals, the Fort Hays State Tigers. For now, I'm Evan Holmes with my partner, Dan Swoboda. Good night, and God bless from UCM.